Kicking off for Philadelphia, Atlanta will receive. Back deep, Evan Cooper and Tim Gordon. Taking it at the 8. This is Tim Gordon. And Gordon up in it. The ball is loose. And did Philadelphia recover? They did. Give the credit to number 26, Michael Haddock. So Philadelphia gets a break right off the bat.
You know, Coach Al Roberts, special teams coach, wanted to get something going early. And you see here a bunch of Eagles on him. Caused the fumble and smart play, keeping both feet in bounds to get a big break for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Michael Haddock's recovering for the Philadelphia Eagles. Philly starts 1st and 10. Ball in Atlanta territory on the 14. Cunningham, hands off, straight ahead, driving. Anthony Tony. Flag is thrown on a play. Ball near the 10-yard line.
Well, I'll tell you what, you don't even have an opportunity to pump your helmet up if you're a defensive
offensive holding number 68.
And that'll be against Reggie Singletary. Randall Cunningham, quarterback at the helm for the Eagles. And the defense of the Atlanta Falcons that Cunningham will be facing includes Rick Bryan, Tony Casillas, Mike Gann. The linebacking core, Andre Bruce, John Rady, Joel Williams, and Marcus Cotton. And the secondary, Butler, Case, Moore, and Brett Clark. 1st and 20 for the Eagles at the 24 of Atlanta. Out of the I formation. In motion is Chris Carter. And Cunningham hands off to Byers. Byers looking for daylight. He's got none. Run out of bounds by 3. Atlanta Falcons, led by Andre Bruce. And the backfield, the offensive field for the Philadelphia Eagles. Cunningham, Tony, Byers, Greg Garrity starting again. Chris Carter and Keith Jackson. Offensive line, Matt Darwin, David Alexander, Dave Remington, Reggie Singletary, and Ron Heller. So the Eagles trying to capitalize on a turnover. 2nd and 23. Ball at the 27 of Atlanta. Cunningham back to pass. Going up top, looking for Carter, and it's incomplete, overthrown. And the fans here wanted interference by Bobby Butler. No such call.
That ball was clearly overthrown. That time, both cornerbacks for the Falcons were right at the line of scrimmage, bumping and run. It's one of the things we talked about. They feel they can play man-to-man defense against these wide receivers. With the loss of Mike Quick, they lose a lot at wide receiver.
Greg Garrity has been filling in admirably in his absence. But as you mentioned, the big play opportunity is gone. 3rd and 23 at the 27 for Philly. Just underway, first quarter action here. Cunningham out of the shotgun. Decides to run it. And he leaps for the first down. Randall Cunningham trying to get the yardage for the first down. Looks like he's going to come up short. Robert Moore on the stop.
Well, he showed the great athletic ability that Randall Cunningham has. Receivers were not open. He knew it was a difficult run to try to get for a first down. But boy, he went for it. Even showing some great hurdling there at the end.
This will be Luis Zendejas attempting a field goal. It'll be a 28-yarder. Zendejas 6 of 6 since joining the Eagles. It's up. And it's good. So Zendejas remains perfect. 7 of 7. The Eagles get on the board. They lead it in the first quarter, 3-0. For the Atlanta Falcons. And Marion Campbell returning to Philadelphia as the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, hoping that his team can show well.
Well, the Swamp Fox didn't like the beginning, and Buddy Ryan, that's the first 3 points they've scored now going into their 7th game, so feel they've overcome something they want to get off their back.
Zendejas kicking off again, back deep for Atlanta. Evan Cooper and Ron Johnson replaced Tim Gordon, who fumbled the last one. And Johnson loses the handle in the end zone, but it's a touchback. So the Falcons will bring it out to the 20. Chris Miller in at quarterback for Atlanta, hoping to stay healthy. And the defense of the Eagles that he'll be facing, a tough defense indeed. Front line, the strength of that defense, Reggie White, Mike Pitts, Jerome Brown, and Clyde Simmons. Linebacking core, Joyner, Reichenbach, and Todd Bell. And the secondary. 1st and 10 for the Falcons at their own 20, trailing 3-0 here in the first quarter. And Miller hands off to John Settle. He runs into Seth Joyner. Gain of maybe a yard. And I mentioned the name John Settle. Of course, Gerald Riggs out, the knee injury. So John Settle in his place. Gene Lang replacing James Primus, Jesse Hester, Floyd Dixon, and Ken Wisenhunt. And the offensive line. Mike Ken, John Scully, George Yarno replacing Wayne Radloff, Bill Fralick, and Houston Hoover. Pickup of 2 makes it 2nd and 8. Ball at the 22 of Atlanta. Out of the pro set. Miller back to pass. Throwing a screen pass in the direction of Gene Lang, overthrown.
And that time you went against the Eagle defense, the 46 defense, 8 people within the 5 yards of the line of scrimmage, and they blitzed Reichenbach. Going to see it a lot today. They're going to see whether or not they can pick up all the different fronts and blitzes and all those combinations that Buddy Ryan's defense likes to present to an opposing offense.
3rd down and 8 for the Falcons. Ball at their own 22. 4 wide receivers in. Miller throws a screen to Settle, and Settle runs hard for the 1st down and plenty of yardage. John Settle, the 2nd-year free agent out of Appalachian State, run out of bounds by William Frizzell. A 16-yard pickup by Settle.
We talked to John Settle yesterday, and James, you were asking, why does he run so hard? He says he runs scared. Well, he not only runs well, but once he catches the ball out of the backfield like he does here, runs over a little rookie there, Eric Everett, and gets the 1st down, and that's a big one. Gets him out of a hole.
At only 5'9", 207, he indeed has to run scared. 1st and 10 for the Falcons at their own 38. Miller to pass on 1st down. Intended receiver Floyd Dixon. Pressure from Ronell Young and Reggie White, of course, applying the pressure on Chris Miller.
And of course, you're going to see Reggie White, arguably one of the best, if not the best, defensive lineman in football today. And they're going to try to isolate him on a young rookie, Houston Hoover. He's only 6'1½". Kind of unusual to see a tackle that short, but he certainly doesn't lack any weight. He's 285 pounds.
Believe it or not, Hoover was looking forward to the challenge today. You like to hear that in your lineman. 2nd and 10. Dixon in motion. Miller with time. Complete to Lang, and Lang up near the 45. Gang tackle. Reggie White led the way on that.
Now you got to wonder, that was a pass, and Reggie White, I don't know if he's rushing the passer and also coming back and playing pass defense, but he made that tackle about 8 or 9 yards downfield. You know, I know the guy's everywhere, at least he seemingly seems to be everywhere, but I don't think you can also rush the passer and play pass defense, although when you're as good as he is, nothing's impossible.
Ronell Young left the ball game for the Eagles with an injury. We'll check that for you. Eric Everett in his place. 3rd and 3 for the Falcons at their own 45. And a pitch back to Settle. And Settle up near the 1st down marker. Mike Reichenbach on the stop. We'll see where the ball is placed. And boy, I tell you, this Settle has really shown well filling in for Gerald Riggs.
Well, when you look at the number of injuries that the backfield has had for the Atlanta Falcons, they had Kenny Flowers go down during the preseason, Gerald Riggs. They lost Stamps, and that's a big loss, and he usually returns kicks, and maybe they wouldn't have had Tim Gordon back there returning that kick to start off the game.
No team has suffered more injuries in the backfield in '88 than the Atlanta Falcons.
You know, it's not only the running backs, it's also the quarterbacks. You know, Miller's been hurt on and off. They lost Steve Dills, lost Scott Campbell during the preseason game. So they've really had a number of injuries in that backfield. It has certainly hurt any offense, but it's going to hurt a young team like the Atlanta Falcons.
John Settle's run comes up shy about a half yard of the first down, so this will bring up 4th and short. Back to punt for the Falcons. Rick Donnelly, consistently among the league leaders. Mark Konechny back deep for the Eagles. And Donnelly gets away a high one. And it rolls into the end zone. So the Eagles will take over at their own 20. A 53-yard punt by Rick Donnelly. Eagles on top, 3-zip. Is at their own 1.
Jaworski, short drop, pass to Mike Quick. There he goes.
And boy, the Eagles love to have this man back, Mike Quick, who's out with a broken leg, as the Eagles keep it on the ground. Back here to live action. And again, Mike Quick, an experienced part of this Eagles offense, out with a broken leg.
And he said he lacks some flexibility, but he's certainly looking forward to coming back this season. You look in front of him as former tackle Stan Walters. I'm sure they could use some help at the tackle position as well.
Well, Quick feels he'll be back in 4 weeks, enough to play at least a few games before, hopefully, the playoffs for the Eagles. 2nd and 6. Cunningham back to pass. Gets it away. And it's intercepted. Brett Clark. Cunningham's intended receiver was Greg Garrity.
Well, he's not very happy with that. Good pass rush, a 4-man rush, something that the Falcons don't often do. And they got him out of the pocket, forced him to throw a ball up for grabs, and this is a nice interception. You can see that Garrity did get behind everyone, but the free safety, Brett Clark, came over, made a nice interception, and couldn't quite get away from Greg Garrity before the whistle was blown dead.
Second-year player out of Nebraska for the Falcons gives Atlanta the ball. 1st and 10 at their own 27. 10:06 remaining in the first quarter. Eagles on top, 3-0. And Miller, the handoff to Lang. And Lang going nowhere. Clyde Simmons wrapped him up, slammed him down.
See Brett Clark, he's happy. It's nice when you're a safety. Anytime you get a pick, I don't care where you are in the secondary, it's nice to start off the game. You feel you get into your groove, and it was a big play. And you know, sometimes when you score early, as the Eagles did, it gives you a false sense of security as far as how the momentum of the game's going to go, and that kind of shifts the momentum back to the Atlanta Falcon offense.
No gain on the play. 2nd and 10 at the 27. 2 receivers to the left. Miller back to pass. Across the middle, complete for the first down. Floyd Dixon. And Dixon takes it across midfield to about the 44-yard line. So Chris Miller with a 33-yard hookup with Floyd Dixon.
That time, they ran the Eagle defense. They blitzed both outside linebackers, which means it's man-to-man coverage with no free safety. Watch Dixon, he just breaks inside. There's no free safety there because he has to cover the tight end. And Eric Allen, he's lucky he held on. He made the second effort. Otherwise, that would have been a very long touchdown. And again, the Falcons know that this is the weakness of the defense for the Eagles.
1st and 10 at the 44 of Philadelphia. Out of the pro set. Miller, play action. Looking for Settle, overthrows it. And Garrett, keep in mind that Atlanta is operating offensively without the services of Stacey Bailey, who's out with an injured shoulder. And Chris Miller was saying, I don't know which receiver today will be my favorite target.
Well, they have so many young receivers, and Jesse Hester came in from the Raiders in a trade. Takes away from your continuity. We asked him who his favorite guy was. He said probably Floyd Dixon at least knows more than the other receivers.
Brings up a 2nd and 10 at the 44 of the Eagles. Miller to pass. Overthrows Ken Wisenhunt. As we check the CBS Sports Wire, other games going on around the league. A doubleheader Sunday here on CBS. and the Patriots out in front of Chicago. And Gary, you said if Chicago didn't get more spunk in their offense, could be in trouble.
Well, I'm sure that they're trying to make an impression on Doug Flutie. So far, he seems to be responding to the challenge.
3rd and 10 for Atlanta. 4 wideouts in. John Settle, the lone back. And Miller under pressure is sacked. Give the credit to Terry Ho. A big 3rd down play by Terry Ho.
Well, Chris Miller looked like he audibled. I think they knew the blitz was coming, but they simply couldn't stop it. Terry Ho gets credit for the sack. Boy, I'll tell you what, you can't ask your quarterback to do too much. He was scrambling too much, had no opportunity to throw that ball.
An 18-yard loss for the Falcons. Rick Donnelly comes on to punt, his 2nd punt of the afternoon. And a short punt that rolls out of bounds, so Philadelphia will have good field position.
They couldn't have gotten a 1st down with that punt. Didn't go far enough for them to get a 1st down.
Only a 23-yarder. Philadelphia will try to get something cooking when we come back. In the game right now, 8:07 remaining in the 1st. Cunningham hands off to Byers out of the backfield, a fumble. And Dave Remington happened to be the right man in the right spot to recover the fumble.
Remington was just on the ground. That bounced right to him. The Eagles have only lost 3 fumbles going into this game, which is the fewest in the NFL. Byers gets the ball. Didn't look like there was anything wrong with it. Just doesn't cover up the ball. It's poked out by Casillas, and see Dave Remington, number 50, just happened to be there. Got a lucky bounce.
2nd and 7 for the Eagles at their own 42. Cunningham complete. Greg Garrity.
He was hit right away by Scott Case, the trash man. He was lucky, really. They had some question whether or not he was going to be ready to play this game. Got hit in the knee last week near the end of the Dallas game. And you take a look at Scott Case.
He's wearing a towel.
Wearing a towel. We asked him why he wears a towel. He goes, I don't know. Everybody else wears one.
Doesn't want to stand out. 3rd and 5 for the Eagles. Cunningham out of the shotgun. And Cunningham under tremendous pressure looking to hit Anthony Toney out of the backfield. And I guess being a target of pressure is nothing new for Cunningham.
Well, really not, but again, what they wanted to try to establish was the running game to complement the passing game. They're not running the ball, and so far, they're not providing much pass protection for Randall Cunningham.
John Telchik in to punt for the Eagles. Back deep for Atlanta. Lou Barnes. And Telchik with an excellent punt that takes an Eagles bounce. And the special teams do an excellent job of keeping it in bounds. Now, the official on top of the play said it was a touchback, but it looked from here as if the special teams did a good job of keeping it in bounds. A 56-yard punt by John Telchik.
The special teams, you look, they give the fair catch signal, and then correctly so, they go behind. But boy, they let it get too close. They could have prevented. Let's see if his foot goes there. Boy, I'll tell you.
Just barely.
They say that his foot touched
William Frizzell.
And that means that that ball goes to the 20-yard line. Boy, that was a lost opportunity for the special teams.
1st and 10 at their own 20. Falcons. This is Settle. And Settle to the left side for about 3 to 4 yards.
Yeah, you get the feeling that neither team is in sync right now, neither offense. The Eagles don't seem to be protecting very well in the pass protection and can't get their running game going. And the Atlanta Falcon offense is really strong on the run. They got a good front line, missing a couple people, particularly at center today. But they have a lot of confidence that Settle's going to get yards. They are going, however, against a very tough run defense with Philadelphia.
2nd and 7. Jesse Hester and Floyd Dixon to the left. This is Gene Lang in motion. Settle the ball carry. And Settle Straight ahead, line doing a good job of opening up for him. Mike Reichenbach on the stop.
John Settle, one of the top running backs this year. A surprise, pleasant one for the Atlanta Falcons. Look, he's in good company with Walker, Craig, Dickerson, and the only running back who's not in this list is Jerry Rice, a wide receiver from the San Francisco 49ers. But Settle has really done a great job replacing Gerald Riggs.
Brings up a 3rd and 3 situation for the Falcons. 4 wide outs in. And Settle, the ball carrier. And he's going to be short of the first down. Interesting call on 3rd down.
It was kind of an interesting call. They had a lot of people on the line of scrimmage. It looked like they were just going to try to get a quick block and pop him through the hole, but instead he ran into a whole bunch of Philadelphia Eagles.
Led by Terry Hogue. Donnelly punting again. And Konechny. Clear catch signal. A 49-yard punt by Rick Donnelly. And the Eagles will take over, leading at 3-0, 4:44 remaining in the first quarter. Philadelphia on top, 3-0. Randall Cunningham only 1 of 4 for 2 yards thus far. Cunningham, the handoff to Tony. And Tony with a good, strong run. Gain of about 6 to 7. Halloween time coming up, of course.
James Brown, you look great.
Needs a little makeup, of course.
Yeah, you shine on camera too much when you're looking orange like that.
Great job there. And a good job by Tony on the run. Pickup of 6. Makes it 2nd and 4. Ball at the 36 of Philadelphia. And this is Tony again. Looking for a hole. Trying to spin forward for about a yard or 2.
You know, they say that the Atlanta Falcons under Marion Campbell defensively are kind of a basic 3-4 defense, but I think that they probably took a look at the problems that the Eagle offense had against Cleveland a couple of weeks ago. You see they're running some 4-man front with Marcus Cotton going down into a line position, moving their people around, trying to cause some blocking confusion with an offensive line that has not spent a lot of time together.
3rd and 2 for the Eagles. Tony again. And Tony with a little hesitation. There's a flag dropped on the play. But Tony looks for no gain. Ben Dright, referee, and Gary, you said he's a no-nonsense type of official.
Well, he keeps a very clean game going. Doesn't put up with any gruff from the players.
And you see the preliminary signal holding against the Eagles.
You know, I also found out that he's a former quarterback.
Number 50. They decline the penalty. It's going to be 4th down.
Dave Remington was the culprit.
He's a former quarterback, and some of the offensive linemen say that he protects quarterbacks like no one else in the league. It's back to your roots.
Telchuk. 2nd in NFC. Average of 41.3. Gets this one away. Barnes takes it at the 10-yard line. And dropped at about the 17. A 53-yard punt by John Telchuk, an 8-yard return. And that's Lou Barnes. The only playoff meeting between these two teams was back in 1978. This NFL flashback takes us back to that wild card game. And I'm sure many of the Philly fans remember this guy on the sidelines. Eagles coach Dick Vermeil saw his team blow a 13-0 lead in the 4th quarter. And we'll come back to that in a second as we take a look at Chris Miller on 1st and 10 from the 18, keeping it on the ground across to about the 22-yard line. Now, this late Steve Bartkowski pass to Wallace Francis was the big play for the Falcons as Atlanta scored its only victory in the playoffs in franchise history. That a 14-13 victory over the Eagles. And boy, did Dick Vermeil look awfully different then.
Seemed like a long time ago, didn't it? Have an injured player on the field.
Looks like Mike Golick from here.
Mike Golick is actually a public shareholder in the Boston Celtics. Wearing green on the field and must be green in his heart as far as basketball goes.
I guess hoping for a little green in the wallet as well. Third-year player out of Notre Dame. Gary, as we well know, Philadelphia has been outscored 63-0 in the first quarter. Looks like they're trying to put an end to that streak. Right now, they lead the game 3-0. 2:47 left. As you take a look at Randall Cunningham.
So far, they've done a good job of boxing him in. Can't find an open receiver. And again, with the loss of Mike Quick, the wide receivers on the Philadelphia Eagles are not particularly fast. I think right now that you're seeing that those cornerbacks in the Falcons are doing a pretty good job of covering all of the wide receivers, particularly on third down. Take another guy, boy, I tell you, Randall Cunningham looking over at Ron Salt, the recent addition from the Indianapolis Colts, and saying, are you sure you can't put on your uniform, man? I need some help. I need some help, and that Eagle offense needs some help at guard. Turning into a real defensive battle so far here in the first quarter. Philadelphia has no first downs. Got the field goal after getting the opening kickoff. And they went backwards rather than forwards on that drive.
And everyone here in Philadelphia has been trying to analyze and assess why Philly is so slow starting in the first quarter. Buddy Ryan says he has no answers for it.
Well, you know, Buddy says it's a stat. It doesn't mean anything if you win the game. And, you know, as slow as they started in the first quarter, they've been doing well in the second quarter. Well, it looks like Mike Golick is not doing so well as he comes off the field on one of these new contraptions. I blew my knee out on this turf in 1979, and I didn't go off on that little thing. I came off on the helmet cart, the golf cart with the big Philadelphia Eagle helmet on it. Way to go in style. Goodbye.
Payne was still the same. 2nd and 6 at the 22 for Atlanta. 2:30 remaining in the first quarter. Atlanta trailing by 3. Wisenhunt in motion. This is Settle. And Settle ducks underneath and scoots ahead for about 2 yards. Mike Pitts on the tackle.
I asked Mike Pitts, kind of anxious to play your old boys, and he said, you better believe it. I wouldn't miss this game for anything.
Fired up, huh?
Former #1 draft choice of the Atlanta Falcons from Alabama. Certainly looking forward to playing a few more years, particularly when you're next to Reggie White.
That ought to help.
No, I'll tell you what, it helps anytime you have a great player like him. It helps an entire defensive line, but they've been doing very well in addition.
3rd and 3 for the Falcons. 4 wide out formation. Settle the lone back. And Chris Miller seeing something he's uncertain about. Decides to burn off a timeout, the first timeout for the Falcons. He'll run over and discuss it.
He was down to 1 second. He really had to call a timeout. Particularly, he might have had some motion on that play. And Philadelphia is showing a lot of blitz. Whether or not they're running it every time remains to be seen. But, you know, you get that in there. You've got a lot of young guys in those wide receiver positions. You got to make sure when you're calling an audible that everybody understands what audible you're calling and what their responsibility is.
And speaking of young, Chris Miller at 23 years of age. But Gary, in talking with the veterans and the other young players on the team, boy, they really express a lot of confidence in this guy.
Yeah, but it's just not the offense. I mean, the defense has confidence in him, too. And when we were talking to Marion Campbell, he said this guy is just a leader. And as much as it has an impact on your offense, it gives your defense a great deal of confidence. They believe they have a guy who can come back and score if they should give up a couple of points.
Miller 3 of 7 for 52 yards at this point. 1:37 remaining in the first quarter. 3rd and 3. Same formation for the Falcons. And Miller's complete to Floyd Dixon. Did he hold on to it? Signal that he did not. Eric Everett in on the hit. A hard hit at that.
Well, they blitzed again, and this time Chris Miller picks it up, throws out to Dixon, who, as you see, gets hit right away. And let's see whether or not you can see the ball is clearly out before he hit the ground, and he would have had the first down. Instead, they have to punt.
Solid hit by Eric Everett, rookie out of Texas Tech. As Ben Dreith stops the action on the field. Everett, not a particularly big ball player, 5'10", 161, but I guess, Gary, you can attest for that it doesn't take a big size as much as the big hit.
Well, you know, with wide receivers getting shorter and a little bit smaller and quicker, you have to have guys who can complement that speed and quickness, and that's why some of the DBs are not as big as they probably were 5 years ago. And
Ben Dreith has stopped the action temporarily while the replay booth was taking a look at that last play. And the play is continuing. The call stands, and Donnelly barely gets it away. Connecting signals for the fair catch at the 39-yard line of the Eagles. So with 1:25 remaining in the first quarter, Randall Cunningham will come on the field. The fans trying to cheer them on, get something cooking here offensively. Eagles lead it by a field goal. Luis Zendejas. Not a warm start by any stretch of the imagination for Randall.
Look at there, Cunningham was trying to get his mouthpiece in. That's why it took so long to get to the line of scrimmage.
On first down, Cunningham play action, and Tony had one hand on it but dropped it.
Oh, but Greg Garrity was wide open downfield. The quarterback bid on the play fake, and there wasn't anyone within 20 yards of him, but Randall Cunningham didn't see him. Boy, it was a nice play action fake on that one, and they had some people definitely biting on the bit.
Ron Johnson, number 85 for the Eagles, goes in, replacing Garrity. 2nd and 10. Ball at the 39 of Philadelphia. Cunningham with a deep drop. Finds Byers out of the backfield. And Byers straight ahead. Long developing play. Pickup of maybe 2 or 3.
Well, you know, you talk about how well a screen pass can be executed. That time, not only did the defense not fool for it, but I don't see any blockers for Byers. His guys didn't get out in front of him in time. He had to slow down and cut back, and looks like he got stuck on the wrist as well.
Brings up a 3rd and 7. Philadelphia at their own 42. 41 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Cunningham going up top for Johnson, and an excellent play by Charles Demery, who knocks it down. So Cunningham looking for Johnson, but finds nothing.
Well, again, very good pressure by the Falcon front 4, chasing him out of the pocket. Watch Demery. Nice smooth play by a young player. Just bats it away. I don't think they could have caught that ball in bounds anyway.
Fencik back to punt for the Eagles.
He's getting plenty of experience here in the first quarter.
And Lou Barnes back for the Falcons. And Fencik gets it away. Barnes takes it at the 11. And a good return by Lou Barnes, the second-year player from Oregon. Stopped on the play by Byron Evans. So Atlanta will start with decent field position. A 41-yard punt by Fencik. 12-yard return by Lou Barnes.
Mike Golick was taken into the locker room for x-rays. Hope that he'll be okay.
Ankle and knee injury. And the word right now, questionable if he'll return. Mike Golick, that is. Right now, the Falcons with 18 seconds remaining in the first quarter, trailing by 3. 1st and 10 at their own 29. Play action. Miller, complete. And Gary Wilkins takes a good yardage, a 24-yard gain for the first down and more. And that'll do it for the first quarter here in Philadelphia. Falcons on the march, but right now they trail by a field goal. Philadelphia leading it by a field goal. They break their scoreless streak, 63-0 in the first quarter. In the last 6 games, Philadelphia leads at 3-0. This is Atlanta on first down. And Gene Lang trying for the acrobatic catch. The pass from Chris Miller. Todd Bell in on the coverage that time.
Well, Todd Bell playing linebacker after playing a number of years with the Chicago Bears. I played with him. Kind of happy about the coverage he had there. I don't think he really saw the ball. You know, In this defensive scheme, you have to have your back to the line of scrimmage many times because you're in man-to-man coverage, and that time he just had to time it right. Prevented Gene Lang from making otherwise a nice acrobatic catch.
You think Bell's a little small to be playing linebacker?
Well, he says his shoulders are sore. I know that.
2nd and 10. At the 47 of Philadelphia. Miller back to pass. Incomplete. Intended receiver Jesse Hester. Chris Miller. Only 4 of 11 for 76 yards thus far. You see him warming up.
You know, he's had a lot of accumulated little injuries, and they're not so little because he's missed some games. And last week he had to come out in a critical time against the New York Giants. Had an ulnar nerve that flared up on him. You hit it on a helmet. It just stings your hand. You can't use it.
All right, Dr. Fencik. Ulnar nerve, that being
your funny bone.
Thank you. 3rd and 10. 4 wideouts in for the Falcons. Out of the shotgun, Chris Miller. Field for Floyd Dixon, and he overthrew it. Terry Hogue on the coverage that time.
Now, Terry Hogue is saying, I should have had an interception there, but it was so badly overthrown, he didn't think he'd have a chance. You look at the ISO here, Floyd Dixon coming inside, number 86, finding the hole in the zone, and I'll tell you, to me, it looks like he didn't try too hard to dive for that ball or go up in the air for it.
It's been a game of punts so far. The 8th punt of the game. This is the 5th for the Falcons. Rick Donnelly gets a high one in, and is fair caught at the 11 by Mark Konechny. So a 36-yard punt by Rick Donnelly, and the Eagles will take over at their own 11. Can't be too pleased with the fact that this has been a punter's game up to this point. No first downs for Philadelphia. The only score, a 28-yard field goal by Luis Zendejas, and the Eagles lead at 3-0. 1st and 10 from their own 11. Cunningham finds Chris Carter, and Carter, good second effort, gets up past the first down marker. So Chris Carter, and maybe Buddy Ryan, will see his team play the way they normally play in the second quarter, Gary Fencik.
It's like playing a clay court tennis game, back and forth, or there's not a lot of points scored, and they're lucky to get 3 points so far in the first quarter with no first downs.
Do you give the credit to Atlanta's defense for keeping Philly very sluggish in the first quarter?
I think both defenses have played very well, but I don't feel that both offenses seem to be completely off target right now.
1st and 10 for the Eagles at their own 26, out of the pro set. Play action by Cunningham, under pressure by Andre Bruce, trying to find Anthony Toney out of the backfield. And Andre Bruce, the top pick of the draft last year, with good pressure on Randall.
You know, and Marion Campbell said feels these young guys have to come along, and they are. Andre Bruce at one side, outside linebacker, the #1 pick in the NFL draft last year, and Marcus Cotton. Now, Andre missed part of training camp and really hurt him. Marion said he came in, there were just 2 different offensive sets. When he came back, there were 100. And boy, the recognition that those linebackers have to go through in terms of experience is very, very difficult.
Baptism by fire indeed. 2nd and 10. That is for the linebacking core of Atlanta, the youngsters. On 2nd down, Cunningham having to scramble. He can run. And Cunningham takes it across the 30 to about the 33-yard line. Tackled by John Rady and Scott Case. And Randall said that normally he would slide in a situation like that, Gary.
Well, I think he's a little frustrated right now. They're not running the offense. It's just not working. He's not getting the time to stay back in the pocket and see what's going on. And he ran for yardage there. He says you get wiser as you get older. But boy, John Rady and Scott Case, that was a great opportunity for them to put a lick on him because he didn't slide, as you said.
7-yard pickup, 3rd and 3. Philadelphia has not converted on a 3rd down yet. Myers in motion. Cunningham scoops it forward to Toney. And Toney has got the 1st down.
Nice shovel pass there. Put Myers in motion and ran a little shovel pass for the 1st down, and their first one of the game. Nice running by Toney. Didn't want to go down. Myers has already gone in motion. Looks like an option almost. It's the shovel pass. Good blocking. And watch down. Oh, boy, I'll tell you what. Toney just doesn't want to go down, but at the end, he's going the wrong way.
Looked like the old Utah pass.
You're spinning, and you find out at the end you don't know where you're going. Tony came into the game as a leading rusher for the Eagles, although you have to say that their offensive rushing game has not been very productive so far in the first half of the season.
Net effect here, though, first down and 10 from their own 39. Cunningham going for Keith Byers, and Byers should have caught that one, Gary. And you can see the frustration on Cunningham's face.
You know, this is, he's still a young quarterback, and you've got to recognize that games do not always go the way you want them to. And I think one of the things he's been doing is pressing a little bit, trying to throw downfield a little bit. You watch Cunningham, he dumps it off to Keith Byers, who's an excellent receiver, and then watch his oh, man, come on, guys. Get going is what he's saying.
Well, Byers in a receiver's position will get a chance, a second chance on second down, 2nd and 10. And Cunningham goes back to him again, but this one is too low. The pass down on the turf.
You know, you talk about Cunningham and Marion Campbell. We asked him yesterday, are you proud of the fact that really he was the one responsible for drafting Cunningham in the 2nd round? Would you do it over again? He goes, well, knowing how good he is now, I don't think I would have made that mistake, because now he's got to go against him. And Marion Campbell had a lot of good years here in Philadelphia, and certainly wants to play well or have his team play well today for him.
3rd and 10 for the Eagles at their own 39. 12-10 remaining in the first half. Eagles on top, 3-0. Cunningham back to pass. Going deep for Johnson. Did he catch it? The signal is he did. So a good effort on the part of Ron Johnson, 4th-year player out of Long Beach State. A 32-yard pass play from Cunningham to Johnson.
Well, that was a great catch by Ron Johnson, who came back in after Quick was taken out with a broken leg. You watch, he's just kind of going downfield, trying to find a hole in the zone, and watch him stretch out for this ball. Does he catch it? Well, I'll tell you what, I think he might have gotten away with trapping that on the ground, and you better believe they're going to look at that one. You know, he's looking around nonchalant saying, hey, I had the ball, but I think they got to take a very close look at that on instant replays. Let's look at here. He's coming across from left of your screen, dives to the ball, uses his hands, and you make the call. I think that we got to have another angle. Does he use his hands? Does the turf help? And it looks to me like that ball was trapped.
Well, indeed, the replay officials are reviewing the call. Replay official is Dixon Holman.
You know, Ben Dreitz, and I bet you all these referees hate, just like the players do, waiting around, waiting for these calls to be made. But well, that's a big play, and I'm sure everybody on that Falcon defense is more than anxious for them to reverse that call.
Well, Randall Cunningham said that Ron Johnson would play a big key in today's game, and that he's got the speed that he would be looking for some big plays. We'll see if this one will stand or not.
What do? You know, when guys in the huddle, what's going on? And you know, this just takes away from the game. Really, nobody knows what's going on, and breaking the momentum a little bit. Eagle offense is trying to get up to the line, and the decision hasn't been made yet.
Randall's trying to get things going.
Hey, come on, guys. When in doubt, let's just play the game.
Well, this is taking some time, to say the least.
Well, Ben, look at Reggie White. They need a big play to get going. So far, the Eagle offense just hasn't done anything.
Well, the second quarter is usually when the Eagles do get it going. They outscore their opponents 61-3 in the second quarter. And this is what the replay official is trying to size up, whether or not it was trapped or caught.
He put his hands out, but does the artificial turf help him make that catch? And I think, look at his right hand. It goes in. I think that, to me, I'd make that call. I'd reverse it. May not be a popular decision if it happens here in Philadelphia, but look at this. What are you going to do now? Hey, a little cold out there, isn't it, Ben? You don't have any long sleeves on.
Well, at this point, let's make a decision and move on. Let's take a look at Ben Dreitz going over for a conversation with Buddy Ryan.
Ben Dreitz is, I'm sure he wants to get up to Dixon Holman, who's the instant replay official up in the booth, say, look, let's just make a decision and move on. You see the umpire, he's the one connected there. That little wireless mic. I wonder if that hurts when he gets speared in the back by all the defensive backs and the linemen. And looks like somebody ran him over last week. He's got some Band-Aids on his neck.
Well, this is where most of the activity is taking place right now for the past couple of minutes. Behind the dark glass.
I think they want to be behind that dark glass. They don't make the decision.
And Gary, they agree with you. Ben Dryden said the call will be reversed. So Philadelphia has its first big play of the afternoon reversed.
Well, I would say their second big play, because that first one was creating that fumble on the opening kickoff. But certainly the first big offensive play. The Eagle offense has not been able to protect the passer and hasn't got their running game going. And relying on Randall Cunningham is a very difficult way to try to get to the playoffs. He cannot do it all by himself.
So John Telchik, who's seeing quite a bit of duty already this afternoon, back out to do the punting for the Eagles. Brings up a 4th down situation for the Eagles. Ball back at their own 39. And Telchik barely gets it away, pushing Lou Barnes back at the 18. And a flag is thrown on the play. Barnes is still on his feet. And Lou Barnes takes it up to the 45, but flags littered the field. 43-yard punt, 28-yard return, but Ben Dryden taking control as usual.
And there are 3 different flags on this field. They're all over. Look pretty, don't they? Well, let's see. Let's get this one right real quick, you know.
Normally you see a lot of players around the officials, but you said Ben Dryden doesn't allow that.
Ben's right. There's so many penalties on this play, it's going to take a while. He went to the top of his hat. That's illegal man downfield, and you see illegal use of the hands.
Illegal man downfield on a kicking team. Illegal block on a receiving team. We're going to play it over.
Yeah, that's what we wanted. Let's see. Telchik's going, guys, I only have so many kicks in my leg today.
And Lou Barnes is probably saying, I only have so many excellent returns. 28-yard return nullified, so Lou Barnes will have to try it again.
I'll tell you, they almost have that last one blocked, so I hope they got in the huddle and said, look, make sure you block that guy. I'm sure Telchik's telling him that. For a great average here in the first half. 50-yard average.
Had a 50.2-yard average last week. And Telchik decides to pass. And it's incomplete. Threw in the direction of Terry Hogue, but Hogue didn't turn around that time. Now, we saw a play like that this year with Detroit.
Well, this one seemed as though it looked like Telchik knew that it was going to be called, and no one looked back for it. Buddy Ryan is not happy. This has turned into a field position half. There's no doubt on Telchik's mind. He's just going to get up, throw it down, and look at all these guys are going downfield.
Do you think there was any discussion between him and Hogue about that?
Yeah, you know what? Watch Terry Hogue right up over the center, number 34. He goes out. He is looking for that pass. There's no doubt he knew it was a play fake, but he went to the wrong area. There was some mix-up.
So the Falcons take over at the Eagles' 39-yard line, 1st and 10. Chris Miller back to pass, going up top. And is it caught? It is. Floyd Dixon down to the 9-yard line of Philadelphia. A 30-yard pass play from Miller to Dixon.
Wes Hopkins is shaking up on the play, making the tackle. You know, usually after a big play like the Falcons just got from Telchik, they run something big. They go against the rookie Eric Allen. Nice throw, completely has him beat. And look how carefully he catches that ball. And watch Wes Hopkins go over him.
And you can see him grimacing there, and you know he's been out with the knee, major reconstructive knee surgery, and boy, you would hope that it's not that. It doesn't appear as if
it looked like he hurt
anywhere in that direction at all.
Well, he did. He landed on his head. What, has sprained his neck or just knocked himself out? Again, that isn't beautiful grass. That's hard, artificial turf with asphalt underneath, and it really does take a takes a pounding on your body.
I was chatting with you before about this field being AstroTurf 8 with the drainage system. Does it make any difference? And you said not really.
I'll tell you, it's hard. And the colder it gets into the season, the harder it is.
Veterans Stadium, Philadelphia Eagles, Atlanta Falcons. Eagles on top by the score of 3-0. Luis Zendejas, 28-yard field goal, the only score in the game thus far. James Brown along with Gary Fencik and Wes Hopkins leaving under his own power. Good sign there.
He'll be back, but he better take some aspirin.
So the Falcons with the ball at the 9-yard line. First and goal, ball at the 9. Settle. And John Settle goes straight ahead. A flag thrown on a play. Settle down near the 5-yard line.
It looked like it was holding the way that flag was thrown. Pretty easy to predict, isn't it?
You've seen it, huh?
Number 66. That's 10 yards. First down.
And 66 is George Yardo starting at center in place of Wayne Radloff. The first Falcon penalty this afternoon. And Gary, you were all on top of that replay with Wes Hopkins. Indeed, he banged his head on that hard turf, and they think he'll be back.
Well, speaking of backwards, Atlanta's offense just moved back 10 on that holding call. First and goal from the 20-yard line. Roynell Young had him, missed the tackle, and then he just took it right up the field for an easy touchdown. Chris Miller, man-to-man coverage, he reads it, throws it out to Haynes, and watch this, Roynell Young right there. Boy, grabs air, and you can't do anything about it. Nice catch, and that's a guy who is very happy. His first NFL touchdown.
And Greg Davis will be attempting the point after for the Falcons. It's up. Good. So both teams capitalizing on mistakes by the other. Right now the Falcons enjoy the 4-point bulge. They lead it 7-3. Philadelphia looking at their Eagles trailing the Falcons 7-3. 10:05 remaining in the first half. 19-yard scoring strike. Chris Miller to Michael Haynes. And Sean Beals takes it in the end zone. Stopped shy of the 15 at about the 14-yard line by Elbert Shelley.
Let's look one more time at the touchdown pass to Michael Haynes. They're blitzing the linebackers in his 46. It's man-to-man coverage. Boy, if you can't cover the guy, you at least got to make sure you tackle him. That time, Roynell Young, the former #1 draft choice for the Philadelphia Eagles at cornerback, just got beat for a touchdown.
The scoring drive, 2 plays, 39 yards, 105. Eagles starting deep in their own territory and driving straight ahead. Eagles keeping it on the ground that time as Keith Byers is stopped by the Atlanta squad up near the 22-yard line.
Well, I think right now you just got to get back to the basics. Run the ball, try some short passes, get out of the hole.
2nd and 3 from the 22. Tony, the ball carrier. And Tony gets up near the first down marker. Rick Ryan, 50-year player from Oklahoma, on the stop for the Falcons.
Well, the Falcon defense has done a great job so far. Brian Casillas up front. They're just controlling the line of scrimmage, forcing them to do what they want to do and not what the Eagle offense wants to do.
Brings up 3rd and 2 for the Eagles at their own 23. Cunningham looking for Johnson. And a flag is thrown on a play. Pass interference. It looks like the call will go against Bobby Butler.
Well, that's an easy call for the referee. He definitely bumped bumped him early, a little too aggressive on it. No, Bobby Butler, the veteran corner, is going to come in. He knows the play so well that he just almost reacts too early. He comes in and he's all over it, but he knows as well as everybody else you can't hit the back. He's trying to reach around, but got a little bit too much of the body.
First and 10, ball at the 35 of Philadelphia. Out to Ron Johnson, and Johnson trying to use his speed, gets up near the first down marker. Joel Williams and John Rady on a stop, and Johnson with first down yardage and more, 12-yard pickup.
Well, Randall Cunningham was really glad to get Johnson. He's been cut a few times. He's been in the U.S. Football League, the Canadian Football League, but they found him back in Monterey, California. He was practicing on his high school field.
With the Sandlot quarterback. 10, ball at the 47. This is Tony running hard, and Tony to the 45 of Atlanta, and New England 20-7. Doug Flutie with 2 touchdown passes in that one. Jim McMahon out with the strained knee. And Gary, you talked about that coming over here, that Chicago had to be careful.
Well, I'll tell you what, New England, they're inconsistent, but remember when Cincinnati went in there and they beat them and they were undefeated at that time.
2nd and 2, Philadelphia. Playing with some spunk on this drive. On the ground, Byers, the ball carrier. This will be close. Don't forget, coming next on CBS Sports, this is the first game of a doubleheader. You'll see Minnesota against San Francisco, and I guarantee you Minnesota will be playing fired-up football against the 49ers today.
Steve Young will be replacing Joe Montana, who was hurt in that Monday night game against the Bears.
Wade Wilson at the helm for the Vikings.
I'll tell you what, Minnesota feels that the 49ers are one of the teams that they have their number. They've beaten in the last few years, but they really embarrassed them in that playoff game last year. San Francisco in that tough NFC West division, they need to win. They're desperate to win that game.
And Byers' run gives Philadelphia the first down. Take a look at the nattily dressed guy on the sideline. You saw upper left-hand corner of your screen in the nice coat there, young man. And you know the story on that, Kenny Jackson, who signed with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Well, I was waiting to talk to Buddy Ryan on Saturday morning. He knocked on the door. I let him in. He said, "I'm back." They're awful glad he is.
On 1st and 10, play action. Cunningham throwing in the direction of Keith Jackson, and Keith Jackson had one hand on it only. Incomplete. There is a flag on the play. Back in the backfield.
And Keith Jackson is coming off the field limping slightly. Jimmy Giles is coming in for him, and Matt Darwin, the starting left tackle, is out, and Ken Reeves is in for him. So they have some changes already in this game.
Not a good sign with Keith Jackson.
10 yards, first down.
Ken Reeves, the guilty party that time, but we were talking about Keith Jackson limping on the sidelines, tied for the lead in the NFL in pass receptions with Roger Craig coming into today's game. Right now, Jackson with no catches. And Jimmy Giles, the 12-year veteran, in his place out of Alcorn State.
Made a big catch last week, closing minutes of that Dallas game.
On 1st and 20, Cunningham back to pass, under pressure. And Cunningham still on his feet. And Randall Cunningham on his own gets back just shy of the first down marker. About a 19-yard pickup by Randall Cunningham.
Well, that's a threat that he presents to anybody. Not only throws the ball well, but he can scramble when he has to. Drops back, gets out of the pocket, and puts on the Jets. And watch this. He's going to fake. He's going to pass it. It holds the DBs a little bit. Nice block there by number 80, Chris Carter, and then just diving. And close to the first down.
And an excellent block even earlier by Ron Heller. That gave him some running room.
He was only 1 yard behind Anthony Toney for the lead in rushing on this team. Boy, he just came up a little short of a first down.
Clear indication why Cunningham accounts for 72% of the offense of Philadelphia.
I know he doesn't mind accounting for that percentage, but any team that's going to play them tries to stop him, and they feel that they can control the offense if they do, and that's not a good sign. You've got to get the running game going to complement the talents of that man.
2nd and inches. And Toney. Second effort. Gives him the first down, and the flag is thrown on the place, and it looks like Andre Bruce grabbed the face mask that time.
You know, you grab anything you can, and sometimes you get metal. And we'll see whether or not it was a flagrant foul, 15 yards, or just 5 for incidental.
5-yard face mask on number 93 defense. That's a first down.
You know, when that guy's trying to block you, you don't know what you're grabbing until you feel a little metal, and you know you have to let go. And Toney comes here as Andre Bruce going against the tight end, number 1 Jackson, number 1 draft choice. You see there, just with his left hand, but he lets go, so they don't call it a flagrant foul. Whew. John Rady comes in and gives him a nice shoulder at the end, though.
1st and 10 for Philadelphia at the 25 of Atlanta. 5:46 remaining in the first half. Toney, the ball carrier, escapes one tackler and is still on his feet. Anthony Toney inside the 15 to about the 14-yard line before being stopped by Michael Reed. And Anthony Toney described as a good all-purpose back by Ted Plum.
Well, they said they have to get the ball to their running backs to establish that game. They pull the guard. He misses the tackle there, and boy, he just puts his head down. Watch that. If you put your head down, run behind your shoulders, you can run through people, get extra yardage. And he did a good job then.
Up for the first down, 1st and 10. Ball at the 13 of the Falcons. 5:04 remaining in the first half. Cunningham back to pass. Jukes and fakes. And it's incomplete. And Keith Jackson on the sidelines only briefly tending to that slightly twisted ankle, back in action.
Did you see that, though? Cunningham was back in the pocket, dodging left and right, just about to take off. Then he took a step back as he saw Jackson open and tried to lift it over. A nice little touch pass, but it was incomplete. See that little shield he has on? I asked him, why do you wear a shield? He says after he saw Ron Heller get his eyes poked out, he didn't want to lose his career, so he started wearing it. But he says he doesn't have windshield wipers, so if it's raining out, he can't wear it.
On 2nd and 10, play action. And great defensive play as Cunningham threw in the direction of Ron Johnson, but Scott Case with good coverage.
Scott Case got the gloves, got the towel, and he's got great positioning here. Boy, he turns around and makes a nice one-handed push away. Otherwise, that was a touchdown. Nice sense of where he was. And Scott Case, we asked him, we said, why do you wear the towel? He said, I really don't know. And maybe it helps.
Psychologically. 3rd and 10 at the 13 of the Falcons. Cunningham out of the shotgun. And it's complete down near the goal line. So Cunningham delivers the Eagles out of a 3rd down situation with that pass to Greg Garrity. And it'll be 1st and goal with the ball marked at the 2-yard line.
Cash to trash. The man with the money to the trash man who just gets open, and he's a tough little receiver, finds an opening, and most importantly holds on to the ball.
Why trash man?
I don't know, because he catches anything thrown his way, good pass or bad.
1st and goal for the Eagles. And this is Byers going up top, and it's a touchdown. No flags. Keith Byers takes his 240 pounds airborne.
You know, you mentioned it, he is 240 pounds. And to be able to go that high and want that touchdown, and boy, I tell you what, if you're a defensive back or a linebacker, what are you going to do? You're catching them, and you can't really get going and push them back.
Luis is in Dejas, and he stays perfect with point afters, 10 of 10. And the Eagles get their first touchdown of the afternoon, retake the lead, 10-7.
It's nothing but a bunch of bodies hitting one another. You take a look here, Keith Byers, everybody's sticking. Tony gives a lead block, and then you jump up in the air, and the people just run into you, and you see whether or not you're over the goal line or not. That time it worked for 6.
And Lou Barnes takes it at the 7 for Atlanta and gets it back up near the 24-yard line. So Lou Barnes gives the Falcons the ball at their own 24. So take a look at Keith Byers, the back of him anyway.
You know, I'm sure any running back wants to get the ball more, and you want to score touchdowns. And Keith Byers has had some problems with his feet the last couple of years, and very healthy this year. That was a big scoring drive, responding to what the Atlanta Falcons did to get 7 points.
3:59 remaining in the first half. Eagles lead it by 3, 10-7. First and 10 for the Falcons at their own 25. And flags are thrown everywhere, stopping the play.
Well, that's 5 yards against the Falcons. One of their guys clearly left early. It'll be first and 15. I wonder how they came up with that signal anyway, you know, illegal motion, you know, it
looked like Gary Wilkins.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it's, he comes right out of the game after he makes a mistake like that.
It'll make it first and 15 for the Falcons. Ball on their own 20. Hester and Dixon to the left. And Miller has to scramble to the right. Reggie White all on top of him. And Miller wisely gets out of bounds with 285 pounds chasing after him.
That's how you find out just how quick you are. When someone's breathing down your neck, he weighs 280 pounds and he wants a piece of you. And even though his ankle has been bothering him, Chris Miller's ankle has been bothering him, he still had the speed to get outside. Take a look at Mr. White and compare him to what he's done against other all-pro linebackers and defensive linemen. My God, it's amazing how many sacks he's gotten. Of course, he didn't come in as a rookie. Came out of the U.S. Football League, got a little mature. Boy, I tell you, he's been tearing up the NFL ever since.
That comparison in the first 3 years at that. Second and 15 for the Falcons at their own 20. Keeping it on the ground, Gene Lang. And Lang is going to be stuck. Maybe a half-yard gain.
Let's watch Reggie, number 92, going against a rookie, Houston Hoover. And against the tight end that time. Gives a little, hits the tight end. Takes on it back. Finds Lang in there. You know, Lang's got a shield on. Maybe he can't see that big guy in front of him.
And Philadelphia showing why it's 4th in the NFL against the rush. Atlanta only 19 yards rushing so far. 3rd and 14 at their own 21. Inside handoff to Lang. And Lang with just an outstanding run. Reggie White grabbing him around the waist to drop him. Not enough for the first down.
Good call. He almost got the first down on that one. Again, you have 4 wide receivers, so everybody's split out. So if you can get past that front defensive line, there's a lot of daylight, but just a little bit short.
Rick Donnelly in to punt for the Falcons. Back deep, Bart connecting for the Eagles. With time, gets it away, pushing Konechny back to the 19. And Konechny at the 22, a flag thrown on the play. Make that 2 flags and the 3rd.
I think they all saw the same thing. I want to make sure they called it.
A 48-yard punt by Rick Donnelly.
I think Isaiah Jenkins is going to give him another 10.
46 at the 10-yard penalty, and it's first down.
You're right. LSU, an 11-point winner over Mississippi. Alabama, big winner over Mississippi State. And that sets up a nice SEC battle next week here on CBS Sports. Next Saturday, LSU and Alabama. There's a four-way tie in the SEC. Those two teams, Georgia and Auburn. So a big game indeed between LSU and Alabama.
Well, they're hoping, I think let's watch this play and we'll talk about what they're hoping for down in Alabama.
This being 1st and 10 at the 12. Inside handoff to Keith Byers. And Byers turns upfield and gets near the 15 to about the 16-yard line. 4-yard pickup by Keith Byers, stopped by Andre Bruce.
You know, Alabama has a great linebacker in Derek Thomas. If he's half as good as Cornelius Bennett, who's up in Buffalo now, they'll be very happy once he gets into the pros.
And we've hit the 2-minute warning of the first half. Philadelphia on top by 3. We'll be back in just a moment. 2nd and 6 for the Eagles at their own 16. Cunningham out of the shotgun. And the ball is batted down and it's intercepted. Tim Gordon. And Tim Gordon gets the deflected pass and takes it for the Falcons down to the 10 of Philadelphia.
Well, Tim Gordon, who fumbled the opening kickoff to start out this game, makes a big play for the Falcons. Cunningham, just trying to find an open man, is going to throw it to the back, and it hits a lineman. Bounces up in Bryant, and then Gordon's there to pick it up, make some nifty moves, and this is just about where the Eagles started the game. Quick here, they've just thrown it up, gets some pressure, it bounces off 77. Big interception.
1:51 remaining in the first half. Atlanta at the 11 of Philadelphia. 1st and 10. And Miller looking for Settle. Throws it out of bounds smartly.
Very wise decision.
And it looked like Cunningham actually hit the back of the helmet of one of his own players on that.
I think he might have hit number 77, Rick Bryan. Bryan's spin move over the right side, gets up. Watch this. Let's see if it hits his helmet, I think. It bounces up. That's a deflected pass for a lineman, and then alertly Gordon picks it off.
2nd and 10 at the 11 of the Eagles. 1:46 remaining in the first half. And Gene Lang goes nowhere. Big Jerome Brown saw to that.
Well, here's a big opportunity. I think right now Marion Campbell wants to make sure that whatever they do, they don't want to cause a turnover. The least they want to tie up this game. The most they want to get a touchdown.
Brings up a 3rd and 10. Ball at the 11. Clock running. Atlanta with 4 wideouts in. 1 of 7 on 3rd down conversions. And Miller decides to run it. And Chris Miller dropped well shy of what he needs for the first down. That'll bring up a 4th down situation.
They were going to run the option play on that. They had 1 running back. They had 4 wide receivers. They were going to run the option, and he decided not to toss it, and all of a sudden he was looking at Reggie White. That was the end of the play. Oh, okay, you got me. I guess I better go down.
Now, you think with Chris Miller's ankle only being 90% that Marion Campbell wasn't squirming on the sidelines?
I'll tell you what, they're obviously going to let the clock run down, and they're going to call a timeout, kick the field goal, and tie up this game.
So there's a timeout with 15 seconds remaining. Atlanta hoping to boot their way into a tie. We'll find out when we come back. Goal for the Atlanta Falcons to try and tie it up at half. High snap, and it's no good.
And it was blocked as well.
So the Eagles, excellent defensive pressure, maintain their 3-point lead.
And this is one of the things that Buddy Ryan takes pride in, blocking extra points and field goal attempts. And I don't know if it was tipped or not, but it definitely went wide. Another look here, not a good snap. You see a little bit high, takes the timing off a little bit. And I think that was definitely tipped. Davis is definitely not very happy.
Well, Jerome Brown looked like he may have had a long arm on that ball. 11 seconds remaining, and Cunningham just wants to run the clock out to end the first half and hold on to that 3-point lead. So Philadelphia does a good job defensively. And certainly the high snap to Chris Miller, who really had to work hard to get that ball down in place properly, didn't help Greg Davis at all.
Well, they lost a good opportunity to go into halftime, tied up, and instead they're still down by a field goal.
Davis doing it so for the Atlanta Falcons. And it's a short one. And the flag is thrown, penalty on the play. And it should be at the 35-yard line. Taking a look at the first half passing yards, almost reverse, Gary, of what we would expect.
Well, Randall Cunningham had a rough first half. I'm not sure Chris Miller did much better, but you know, as we talked about, they have to really establish a running game. Philadelphia had almost 100 yards in the first half, but this is a surprise. Atlanta, which has such a strong rushing game, wasn't able to get on track in the first half.
So Philadelphia takes over 1st and 10 at their own 35. Handoff to Anthony Toney, and Toney takes it 5 yards up to the 40. 5-yard pickup by Anthony Toney.
Looks like both sides are just kind of taking it easy. The crowd's kind of dead. It doesn't seem as though the game has really started here in the second half. I'm sure they'll pick it up maybe when they get into the sunshine on that field.
2nd and 5, ball at the 40. Just underway in the third quarter. Eagles on top, 10-7. Philadelphia out of the throw set. Cunningham back to pass on 2nd down. And great defensive play by Scott Case. And Case is really on the ball this afternoon.
Really wanted to have a big game, and I think both cornerbacks knew that they felt confident they could handle these wide receivers, but they also knew because of the strength of Cunningham's arm and because the offense for the Eagles has been having problems running the ball, that they really had to be responsible for shutting him down, and they did a great job in the first half.
Brings up a 3rd and 5 for the Eagles. Ball at their 40. Philadelphia 2 of 7 third down conversions. This is the spread red offense of Philadelphia. Cunningham back to pass. And it's incomplete. Intended receiver Keith Jackson. And Jackson giving Cunningham the target area, saying hit me just at the numbers.
You know, Cunningham wears that little shield, and some of the offensive linemen were saying when he has his head down, that serves as a muffler, and they can't really hear the signals as well in a big game or when the crowd really gets into it. Makes it very difficult. One of the problems wearing some of the new technology.
Fencik punting for the Eagles. Lou Barnes. The Falcons push back to the 14-yard line, and Barnes has got daylight. He's got only Fencik to beat. And Lou Barnes, an outstanding return, grabbed from behind by William Frizzell. No flags on the play, and Lou Barnes finally gets a good one in. A 58-yard return by Lou Barnes.
Well, it was a great kick. He might have outkicked his coverage. Lou Barnes, who just recently joined the team, got through the first wave, and then it's just open field running. Fencik comes over, tries to make the tackle. He cuts back again, gets some blocking. But Andre Bruce is this leading blocker. I'd like to have that kind of lead blocker.
As long as it was 17 yards against the Giants coming into today. This is 1st down and 10 at the 18. Chris Miller, touchdown, Floyd Dixon. No flags.
And he was wide open.
A 17-yard scoring strike from Chris Miller to Floyd Dixon. And the Falcons come right back.
You got to give this offensive line for the Falcons credit. They've done a great job of blocking in the first half, and they do a great job here. Chris Miller sees a wide open Dixon in the corner. That was just too easy. That looks like a practice throw and a practice catch.
Greg Davis will attempt the point after. And this one is blocked. And it looked like Clyde Simmons might have gotten a hand on that one. So the point after attempt by Greg Davis is blocked.
Well, they blocked it near the end of the half to save some points, and here they come up, and boy, it's tough to tell. I don't know if it's Simmons or not. Definitely not Clyde Simmons, but it was a big extra point block.
Bottom line, point is blocked. Atlanta leads it by 3, 13-10. In the end zone, decides to bring it out. And Sean Bills gets back only to about the 12-yard line, tackled by Jesse Tuggle.
You know, look at the young and the old. Roynell Young, former first-round pick, and the second-year player. I mean, second pick in the NFL Eagle draft, Eric Allen. Chris Miller just dropping back and sees a wide open Floyd Dixon. Obviously some confusion in the secondary of the Eagles. And look at those guys. They're just looking at one another. Roynell at the top, Eric Allen. You know, somebody had to have that guy. And I'm sure that's something that Buddy Ryan and the staff will be talking about, particularly tomorrow when you have to watch it again on film.
1st and 10 for Philadelphia. Ball at their own 12. 13:37 remaining in the third quarter. And Anthony Toney goes across the 15 to about the 16-yard line. Pickup of 3. Marcus Cotton, rookie linebacker, in on the stop for the Falcons. One play, 17 yards, 6 seconds.
You know, one of the problems that the Falcons have been having is when their defense makes a big play, they get a turnover, they weren't converting it into points. That time it just took them one play to do that.
2nd and 6 at the 16. 3 wide outs in. This is Keith Byers, and Byers thought to be dropped at the 20. Second effort. He's got the first down yardage plus some. Joel Williams on the stop.
They spread him out that time, and again, Keith is 240-plus pounds. And you hit him, and he doesn't necessarily go down. He showed good balance on that one, put his arm down. They had 2 wide receivers to the top of the screen. They split him out. They had man-to-man coverage, which is what they wanted against a linebacker. In this case, throws his body. It's the safety more. Joel had to come over and make the final tackle.
And this is Byers on first down. And a good, strong hit applied by Joel Williams and Marcus Cotton.
Boy, I'd say when you're a running back and you jump up, you take away all the power and strength you have. That looked like a practice drill. You know, jump up, we're going to take him, we're going to drive him into the pile.
But he hasn't spun today. Keith Byers, that is.
You know, one of the things he does when he gets through the line of scrimmage, a lot of times he spins. And I don't understand why a guy 240 pounds would spin when he's going to hit a defensive back.
2nd and 7. Ball at the 31. This is Toney. And Toney's running hard across the 35 to about the 37-yard line. It'll be close. Tony Casillas on the stop.
Well, in the first half, I thought the Falcon front 3 did a great job. You see Casillas there, and Gann. Rick Bryan did a good job of controlling the line of scrimmage. And even on their pass rushes, when Marcus Cotton goes down into a 3-point stance to be the 4th lineman, they did a good job of flushing Cunningham out of the pocket, and the secondary did a good job of covering the receivers.
3rd and 2. At the 36, play action. Cunningham looking for Johnson. In and out. Tight coverage that time by Bobby Butler.
Well, that was a good play by Butler on that one. It was called for pass interference in the first half on that little curl pattern. And it doesn't look to me like the Eagles are playing the way they should in the third quarter. They're just falling asleep here. Watch this, wide receiver. You know, you got to expect defensive backs on your hip. You got to fight to go back to the ball. You just can't stand it.
John Telchik in for yet another punt. And this one goes off the side of his foot. And Barnes picks it up and he fumbles it. A strong hit applied to Lou Barnes, but it goes out of bounds. The fumbled ball goes out of bounds, so Atlanta will retain possession.
They got a break there. Byron Evans, number 56. Lou Barnes saw the short punt, and no one's there. He says, okay, I'm going to pick up some extra yardage here. Comes down the sideline. 56, Byron Evans comes in and sticks him, and oh, Terry Hogue almost came up with a big play for him, but couldn't. It goes out of bounds.
13-10 ball game. Atlanta on top. 10:58 remaining. pick up before being stopped by Mike Pitts. Veterans Stadium here in Philadelphia, home of the Philadelphia Eagles since 1971. And the Eagles right now trailing the Falcons 13-10. You see the time remaining in the third quarter. James Brown along with Gary Fencik, and Philadelphia just has not been able to get on track offensively. This is 2nd and 7 for the Falcons at their own 48. Pass intended for Mike Haynes off of his fingertips, incomplete.
Chris Miller knew he just overthrew him on that one. You know, again, one of the problems that you have is that you're running it with young wide receivers. They don't always run the same distance that your veteran players do. It takes away the timing. At that time, I think clearly he just threw it out of bounds.
3rd and 7 at their own 48. Chris Miller operating out of the shotgun with 4 wideouts in. John Settle, the lone back. And Miller with Reggie White on top of him. Reggie White, first sack of the game for Reggie.
I'll tell you what, it's difficult to escape him. And I think really that time that was more a coverage sack because they did a good job of blocking, but he just couldn't find, Chris Miller couldn't find anybody downfield. Look, he looks over to his right. He's looking, now he's trying to scramble. Look out, number 92, Reggie White. You know, earlier in the game, because he ran out of bounds behind the line of scrimmage, they gave Reggie White with the credit for another sack. That's the first legitimate one he got today.
And Donnelly has to rush to get that punt away. And connected. With the fair catch signal, takes it at the 27-yard line, a 38-yard punt. As you take a look at Reggie White, upping his sack total to 9.5 on the year.
Minister of Defense. They count on him, and they're letting him work against the rookie. They didn't want him involved in any of the stunts that the other guys were involved in. They wanted him to work one-on-one against either the center, Georgiano, or against the rookie, Houston Hoover.
13-10 ball game. Falcons on top. This is Cunningham on first down, throwing behind the intended receiver, Keith Byers.
Randall is not happy. He threw way behind. He's really having a difficult time today, and you have to give credit to the Falcons secondary. They've done a good job. And I think that what he did, they're using 4-man fronts, they're using 3-man fronts, they're moving around. I think they probably took some lessons from the Cleveland game. And boy, right now it's paying big dividends for their defense. They're playing well.
2nd and 10 for the Eagles at their own 27. Cunningham back to pass, looking for Jackson, and Jackson with the defender all over top of his back. Late flag thrown on the play. Robert Moore, well, like he was riding his back.
Defensive pass interference, number 34. That's the first down.
Looked like he was jumping on a horse to ride him somewhere. And look, he hits him in the head. He knows it was definitely a pass interference call. Keith Jackson comes in, finds a hole. Watch Moore come through him, and watch, he jumps out of it, then he doesn't know what to do with it. He can't get him down. And you see Keith Jackson, he definitely wanted that pass interference call and got it.
Jackson yet to catch a pass this afternoon. Chris Carter in motion. 1st and 10 for the Eagles at their own 32. And a great catch by Ron Johnson for the first down yardage. And Johnson, with the player riding his back that time, hauled it in.
You watch, they're going man-to-man, pressing at the line of scrimmage. Johnson goes outside, comes inside. Case is right there, and watch this. See, he catches it with his hands. If he tried to use his body, he never could have made that catch. And Randall Cunningham feels that this is the guy who gives him the speed to replace Mike Quick. And they're very fortunate, too, because they've released him, but he's come back and forth so many times that he already knows this offense.
Scott Case shaking up on a play, leaves the field. Charles Dimry in to replace him. 1st and 10, all at the 44 of Philadelphia. Play action. Cunningham hit from behind, and it's picked up by Mike Gann. And Gann scores the touchdown for Atlanta. No flags.
Well, you better believe there aren't too many times a defensive lineman picks up a ball and can saunter in for a touchdown. That's a big play for him, but a bigger play for this Atlanta team that's had so many things go wrong this year for them. And right now, they're in the driver's seat. Boy, look at Marion Campbell. We're used to that. I think you show a little more emotion, but right now he's just got to be very pleased. His defense is taking control of this ball game, particularly in the second half. Boy, Mike Gann from Notre Dame, they gave him the ball. You better believe he wants that ball. That's a big play.
Second career touchdown scored by Mike Gann, and Greg Davis will attempt the point after. It's up, and it's good. So at the 9:09 mark of the third quarter, the Falcons move out in front by 10 over the Eagles.
He's going to go against Keith Jackson, #1 pick, a guy he knows very well. He's a second-round pick from USC. Comes in, he played against him in college. Oklahoma against USC. It's a bull rush. He knocks Jackson into Cunningham. And Gans there picks it up. 35, 36 yards, sprint into the touchdown.
And Davis gets a foot into it for the Falcons. And Bills with 1 foot in the end zone takes it out across the 20 and dives to the 23-yard line. Sean Bills. Stopped by Jesse Tuggle.
Well, the play that set up this big lead, 10-point lead. Watch again at the top of your screen. Marcus Cotton knocking Keith Jackson into Cunningham, and Mike Gann picks up the gift. Looking around, no one's there. Shows pretty good speed, and then he gets the spike at the end into the end zone.
And Cotton, a smaller ball player weight-wise than Keith Jackson. 225 versus 250. First and 10 for the Eagles at their own 23. Eagles trying to get something going. Anthony Toney does on that particular run. A 13, 14-yard run by Anthony Toney. Robert Moore drags him down from behind. Excellent run by Anthony Toney.
Well, we talked at the top of the game whether or not this team was going to show any maturity, and now they're behind once again. You see Buddy Ryan there, and to his right, Ted Plum, the offensive coordinator. They've got plenty of time. They have confidence they can come back. They demonstrated that last week against the Cowboys.
First and 10 at the 35. Cunningham back to pass to Keith Byers. Complete. Across the 40 to the 41-yard line. A 6-yard pickup. Robert Moore on the stop. And, of course, Marion Campbell, we mentioned at the top, would love nothing better than to come away victorious today.
Well, they've only won one game. They've been snake bit. Last week against the Giants, they had the opportunity. They had that game in the bag. So he recognizes it's only the third quarter. We got a lot of football left.
Eagles hoping to shake the jinx of losing the first game after they've reached the 500 point. This is Anthony Toney as he runs into Rick Bryan. And a very important game today, as we mentioned at the top, for the Philadelphia Eagles with a record of 4-4. And that keeps them just one game behind the co-leaders in the NFC East Division, New York Giants and Washington Redskins. And we talked about the Giants and the Redskins' schedules, respectively, the second half of the season.
Well, I'll tell you what, Philadelphia knows they just got to win this ball game. You got to win against the teams you should beat. We're not saying that Atlanta doesn't have a good team, but, you know, they're smelling roses right now. This is an opportunity for the Eagles to get to the playoffs. Atlanta probably isn't going anywhere.
Washington's got a very tough schedule the second half of the season. The Giants and Philly, relatively easy. 3rd and 1. And the Eagles straight ahead. Cunningham trying for the quarterback sneak to get to the first down marker. We'll see where they mark the ball.
You know, we were talking about teams that have a chance in the second half of the season. The players start looking at schedules, the fans start looking at the schedule. If we beat this team and beat that team and they lose to so-and-so, we can win the division.
Players actually look at that.
Oh, you better believe it. The players know pretty well who's playing whom, what are the big games. You know, in Atlanta's division, the NFC West, everybody knows the Rams are playing New Orleans today. You better believe the 49ers know it. I can tell you right now, the Vikings are out in California, and they're saying, hey, the Bears might lose to New England. Take a look at the West here, and 49ers have a big game against the Vikings, but New Orleans and the Rams, one of them will drop it unless they tie.
Meanwhile, back to action here. Philadelphia got the first down, 1st and 10. Ball at their own 45, 6:45 remaining. Philly trailing by 10. Cunningham complete to Keith Byers. About an 8-yard pass play from Randall to Byers. Scott on the stop.
You know, Keith Byers is a very good running back running the ball, but he's a great back as far as a receiver. And he has that speed, and they split him out with the wide receivers, and it really gives this offense additional ammunition.
Byers 4 catches for 30 yards today. Coming into today's game, he had caught 21 passes in the last 3 games. 2nd and 1 for the Eagles. And Tony really running hard. Boy, I tell you, this guy's getting stronger as the game goes on.
Well, it's up front where it matters, and you got to have a hole, and it looks like the Philadelphia offensive line maybe is having a change of heart here. They're going to start running that ball. They feel confident. Let's just go straight ahead. Ran kind of some funny plays in the first half, a lot of misdirection, some fancy plays, and right now they're just taking it straight ahead, power running, you against me, and Tony's that type of runner, has the power.
And speaking of Tony's, Tony Casillas shaking up on that play, limping off the field. And you were talking about Anthony Tony and his good hard running. His numbers 14 carries for 70 yards through the 3rd quarter. And the birthday boy, Bill Fralick,
I think his
coming up tomorrow. Yeah.
Trick or treat Halloween day, and come on, he knows it's on. He can see those red lights in the camera.
He's got a few fans. He's got a few fans who knew about his birthday. 1st and 10 for the Eagles. And this is Tony straight ahead again.
Punching it straight ahead over Dave Remington, Reggie Singletary, Ron Heller. You know, this offensive line, Heller came in right near the end of training camp, and Singletary played tackle the entire preseason, so he's really getting comfortable at guard. Remington came in for the Tampa game to open up the season, so this is not a group that spent a lot of time together.
2nd and 7. Ball at the 38. Sleight of hand fake by Cunningham. Looking for Keith Jackson just off of his fingertips. An excellent fake by Randall Cunningham, but the pass incomplete. And Jackson continues his stretch of not having caught a pass today.
Well, he's had such a great season. You know, he's hoping to get 100 catches. He has 48 going into this game. We were talking to him about the importance of Jimmy Giles, how much Jimmy's helped him not only in pass routes and learning who's going to cover who and how to read defenses, but also teaching him how to hold NFL style, which is something you can't do in college.
Holding?
Well, I know it's hard to believe, but he admitted it at least.
3rd and 7. Out of the shotgun. Cunningham. And this time it's caught complete to Keith Jackson. And Jackson comes away with his first catch of the game. And his forward progress should have gotten him the first down. And Ben Dre signals that it does. Scott Case and Robert Moore in on the stop.
You know, Keith Jackson's in motion here, and he said, you know, I'm on 3rd down. I come in, I got all these little DBs who weigh 2 pounds cover me, and Scott Case is covering him to the inside. He gets outside there and makes a nice catch. But Scott Case is right there, and then Moore comes over, and then they can't get him down. But boy, at the end, you know, everybody's flying in there, even his own guys.
Talk about a load.
Ooh, he's a big one.
Philadelphia marching, 1st and 10 at the 30 of Atlanta. 4:08 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Cunningham trying to get out of trouble. And Ben Dre signals that he's in the grass.
The boy,
Mike Stan. And we've got a little free for all out here on the field.
and then, oh, look at that.
Chris Carter is really going at it.
And look at Keith Jackson. They're gone. They're rookies making bad mistakes, bad judgment there. Boy, you don't see that. You know, everybody's got hard plastic on. It's tough to punch anybody. You can't do any damage to the face, and you only get the body. And boy, I'll tell you what, that was an all-out fight.
Chris Carter at 194 was taking on Marcus Cotton. And Cotton, all he needs is an excuse to get excited.
I think some guys are going to be gone for the day on this one.
Now, if you were still playing, would you be in the backfield just watching that action?
I tell you what, you have to protect your teammates, but you can't be dumb enough to be thrown out of a football game, and we have to wait to see whether or not Ben Dryth, the head referee, decides to do that. But, you know, the other thing is the NFL is going to watch this film, and then Monday and Tuesday, or maybe later on in the week, let's listen to Ben.
With an offset. There's personal fouls on both teams. It's going to be an offset.
Well, I'll tell you what. There are some lucky guys, because when you start throwing punches and all that, you're usually gone. And this started, I mean, it was just with the offensive lineman. Took exception to Cunningham going down. He was clearly in the crash. Watch Heller. Heller's got Andre Bruce, and then, but Chris Carter and Marcus Cotton. And watch this. Watch Jackson come in. Watch Keith Jackson hit you. Whoa, hey. Okay, buddy, I'm going to protect my own. And
man, those guys are supposed to be friends, Keith Jackson and Marcus Cotton. As a matter of fact,
but watch Chris Carter. He's on the bottom, and he's still going.
We'll get back to the story in a second. 2nd and 19, ball on the 39, and Ben Trice stops the play.
First timeout.
As Atlanta burns off a timeout, and we'll talk a little more about Marcus Cotton and Keith Jackson and how good of friends they are supposed to be. Philadelphia trailing by 10 as we take a look at Gerald Griggs on the sidelines of the Atlanta Falcons. You think he'd want to be in there with that action?
Well, I bet he wouldn't mind, but this game just got knocked up a few notches. It's going to be intense from now on.
2nd and 19 for Philadelphia at the 39 of Atlanta. Cunningham back to pass. And Cunningham is wrapped up and sacked. Rick Bryant in doing the damage, 5th-year player from Oklahoma. As we take yet another look at the altercation that occurred earlier.
Boy, where do you look? Take a look at Marcus Cotton at the top, and Scott Case comes in and sticks Carter. Carter doesn't even know who it is, so he says, okay, I'm going to take this guy on, even though, goes down to the ground. Keith Jackson jumps on to help him out. Wars on top of him. Andre Bruce comes in. Looks like all-star wrestling now. Back and forth.
3rd and 25 for Philadelphia. Out of the shotgun. Cunningham going up top for Carter, and it's incomplete. No flags on the play. Bobby Butler on the coverage. Now, you and I were talking about Marcus Cotton and Keith Jackson going at it. Marcus Cotton was the guy who allegedly introduced Keith Jackson to a young lady in Los Angeles whom he fell in love with. Maybe he's not in love with her anymore.
I'll tell you what, he said they kind of got along pretty well, but didn't look like it by that fight.
4th and 25. Fencik and Lou Barnes signals for the fair catch at the 20-yard line. Don't forget, coming up next Saturday here on CBS Sports, pretty good fight indeed should be in the makings here. LSU and Alabama, a fight for the lead in the SEC, 4-way tie. And you talked about Derek Thomas.
Boy, I'll tell you what, those two teams will be a dogfight. We'll be fighting real hard. SEC football at its finest.
When Derek Thomas was a sophomore, Perkins said he didn't know whether or not he was better than Cornelius Bennett. 1st and 10. Ball at the 20 for Atlanta. John Settle. Hard running back he is. 4-yard gain. Stopped by Mike Reichenbach.
Well, now it's up to the defense to set the tone against the Atlanta offense. And you better believe everybody in both huddles is saying, hey, you saw what went on against the other side. Be ready. Keep that chin strap fast and tight.
Falcons on top by 10 with 2:41 remaining in the 3rd. 2nd and 5. Gene Lang with the first down yardage plus. And Coach Campbell said that whenever Lang has played, he's played well, so he deserved an opportunity to start today. Seth Joyner and Wes Hopkins in on the stop.
Give credit to the Falcon offensive line. They're going against an 8-man front, that Eagle defense. And he got a hole, and he made a first down.
1st and 10 for Atlanta at their own 33. Out of the eye. Handoff to Settle. And Settle somehow continues to slip and slide his way forward. Todd Bell in on the tackle.
You know, taking a look at Houston Hoover, and he took exception to something Reggie White did, and hey, he's saying, look, I'm here to play. And this offensive line for the Falcons is really part of the strength of their offense. All-Pro Fraley, Mike Penn's been All-Pro, and they just have a lot of confidence in themselves. I'm sure they're tired of getting into situations where they lose games at the end.
2nd and 5 at their own 38, and Gene Lang. And a flag is thrown on the play as Lang gets up just shy of the first down marker. We'll await the call from Ben Dwight, and it's going to go against Atlanta. So that'll push him back.
Offensive holding, number 79. That's a 10-yard penalty and a second down.
And the birthday boy, one day away from his birthday, Bill Fralick. As you take a look at the defense of the Falcons on the sidelines discussing things.
They've done a great job. Again, they have to feel that, look, you know, this doesn't mean anything. We have a 10-point lead, but we've been here before. We had a much bigger lead last week against the Giants, so a lot of time left in this game, but boy, they played well, and this guy in particular, Marcus Cott, has had a good game.
He was very candid in saying he doesn't understand everything about his linebacking position, but he's played well today. 2nd and 15 for the Falcons at their own 28. Settle in motion. Chris Miller having to get in motion. And smartly looks for a safe piece of real estate to dive on. He takes it down to about the 31-yard line.
Take a look. It looks like he might have jammed his ankle. He's playing with a sore ankle. And
the left
turf is so new. This is new turf, and it just gets a little too sticky and tacky sometimes. Take a look at that left ankle. He's wearing that high top. Probably has a little ankle brace in there. Look at those guys spatting up.
Yeah, you can see the extra protection.
Yeah.
3rd and 11 from the 32. Atlanta only 1 of 9 on 3rd down conversions. The inside handoff to Settle. And Settle gets up near the 40, but it will not be enough for the first down. Mike Pitts on the tackle. And when we come back, Atlanta will be punting away. That's the end of the 3rd quarter.
XSI 1988 Motor Trend Import Car of the Year.
On 4th down, the Falcons punting. And Donnelly barely gets it away. Bart Konechny takes it at his own 12. And he's dropped inside the 5. Tim Gordon. And Timmy Gordon looking to make up in a big way. A 48-yard punt by Rick Donnelly. And the Eagles will be starting deep in their own territory. Don't forget, coming up next here on CBS Sports, the second half of our doubleheader, Minnesota Vikings. Wade Wilson at the helm, taking on the San Francisco 49ers with Steve Young.
Well, this is somewhat reminiscent of where this team started near the end of the game in Dallas. Long way to go. It's a touchdown.
1st and 10 for Philly from their own 4-yard line. Straight ahead across the 5-yard line. Pickup of maybe 2.
You know, Mark Konechny took that punt, went backwards, and really put him in the hole here. And Carrier down by 10 points with a whole quarter to go, but you hate to have to start inside the 10-yard line where you have to be somewhat conservative.
And Anthony Toney has been running hard all day. Tough task ahead of him now. 2nd and 8 from the 6. Cunningham. And it's complete to Chris Carter. And Carter has got the first down. So Randall Cunningham to Chris Carter. Gets Philly temporarily out of the hole.
Nice safe pass. They had Keith Byers out to the left. 2 wide receivers. Safe pass inside the 10-yard line. Immediately to Chris Carter. And then he just takes it up, avoids the tackle, gets the first down. Doesn't fight anybody. Doesn't see Marcus Cotton around.
1st and 10 at their own 22. Play action. Cunningham to Keith Jackson, and Jackson's got daylight. He gets by Brett Clark and is pushed out of bounds. So Brett Clark saves a surefire touchdown. A 41-yard pass play from Cunningham to Keith Jackson.
Well, I can't think of anyone they'd rather get loose than somebody who weighs 250 pounds. You see it's man-to-man coverage. Nice block, 2 blocks really by Chris Carter. And boom. I'm surprised he didn't drop his shoulder and try to run him over or something.
He's big enough.
He certainly is big enough.
Longest reception of the year for Keith Jackson. Gives the Eagles 1st and 10 at the 37 of Atlanta. This is Toney. And Toney stopped by Joel Williams.
You know, Joel, he's the veteran who's helping those outside linebackers. John Rady was injured earlier in the game. So So they're replaced by Tim Green. And so you got Green who's come somewhat young and coming off injured reserve. Then you've got the two rookies, Cotton and Andre Bruce on the outside.
2nd and 7 from the 34 of the Falcons. Chris Carter in motion. Back to the pro set. Cunningham. Looking for Carter. And it's incomplete. And Carter really frustrated.
Well, that was an easy touchdown because Bobby Butler had slipped and fell. Gave him a fake and he fell down at about the 10-yard line. He was wide open. And Randall Cunningham had to know that. He sprints out. It's an in move and an out move. He is wide open. There's no one there. And it was overthrown. Boy, that's, you look, he takes that little red thing and throws it down that pylon and says, God, we needed that.
3rd and 7 out of the shotgun. Cunningham. Looking for Byers. Tipped and knocked down by Tim Gordon. And Gordon having himself a whale of a game after the opening kickoff fumble.
Really was. Nice play by Tim Gordon, number 41. He's covering Byers, 41 on 41. And that time the red guy definitely won.
Bring up a 4th and 7. 13-12 remaining.
And they're going to try a field goal. I asked Zendejas before the game, how far can you kick it? He said, I feel comfortable with 55 yards, so he's within his range.
Well, this is a 51-yard attempt by Luis Zendejas. It's up. And it's no good. So Zendejas, 7 of 8 for the Eagles, and the Eagles still trail by 10. Yard touchdown run from the defense. And again, Philadelphia trailing by 10. You see the time remaining in the 4th quarter. And Gary, Atlanta came into today's game -7 in the turnover category, tied for 25th in the league.
What they haven't done, they haven't beat themselves. Their defense has played great. They make the big play. Cotton knocking Jackson in to Cunningham and Gam taking in for a touchdown. But they've also made a lot of plays offensively running the ball. And you look here, Marcus Cotton knocks Jackson 88 into Cunningham, and boy, a dream for a lineman to run 35, 40 yards free, and Mike Gam from Notre Dame takes it in for a big touchdown for the Atlanta Falcons.
And Atlanta takes over 1st and 10 from their own 34. This is Gene Lang going straight ahead. About a 3-yard pickup.
You know, it's up to the defense right now, and if they want to stop this run, they got to get off the field. You got to give your offense plenty of time to score more than one touchdown, or they're going against a team that is really hungry. An Atlanta team that's very frustrated that they're only 1 and 7. They said that they're better than that, and now they have 13 minutes to prove it.
That 3-yard run makes it 2nd and 7 from their own 37. 12:31 remaining in the game. John Settle driving straight ahead to about the 39-yard line. Gain of about 2.
All the linebackers are involved in that one. Reichenbach. You know, we were talking to Mike a couple days ago, and we said, you know, what's going on with this team? And he said, hey, we have got to get over the point where we're up 1 week and we're down 1 week, and they're in that roller coaster ride again today.
3rd and 5 from the 39. 4 wideouts in for the Falcons. Miller. Incomplete. Intended receiver, Michael Haynes. Bring up a 4th and 5, a punting situation for the Falcons.
Well, again, you know, Chris Miller has some young receivers, so he doesn't have perfect timing with all of them. But he's not making a big mistake. He's not trying to push it and maybe throw an interception that will get Philadelphia back in this ball game.
Rick Donnelly on for the 9th Atlanta punt of the game. And he gets it away. Connected. Signals for the fair catch at the 21-yard line. So Philadelphia, with 11:40 remaining in the game, will take over. That is significance with the Bears losing 23-7 in the 4th quarter to New England. Back to live action here. Randall Cunningham on 1st and 10 throws to Anthony Tony. And Tony still on his feet. try to bring his team to life on a very tough day for Randall.
I'll tell you what, you just have to give credit to the Falcon defense. They've really done a great job, both in the secondary, the linebackers, everybody. And you look, these aren't great stats, but the game obviously is not over.
Randall's been sacked 42 times on the year. 14 of 34 for 163 yards on 2nd and 1. And Byers blows by the first down marker in big fashion. Now the Falcon players say there's a fumble that they've recovered. Let's await the signal from Ben Dwight.
And I don't think they gave it to him because no one's jumping up and down in red jerseys.
He was down by contact. The ball comes loose, goes back to the runner.
Your guy, Ben Dwight, definitive, authoritative.
No doubt about that. Watch Keith Byers really get the ball and go right in the middle of your screen. He's hit, and the ball, boy, I'll tell you what, you better run that play real quick if they don't want the replay. That looked like a fumble.
1st and 10 from the 35. Play action. Cunningham going for Johnson. He's got him. Complete. And Ron Johnson takes it across midfield to about the 42-yard line. Brett Clark on the stop. A 22-yard pass play from Cunningham to Johnson.
You know, you can tell that Randall Cunningham likes Ron Johnson. We were talking to him before the game. There's an injured player down now, and he just had a lot of confidence. He has the speed that Garrity and Chris Carter don't have that Mike Quick gave to them that would stretch a zone defense and allow the guys to come open underneath. You look here, there's an injured player, and it might be Bobby Butler, who's had hamstring problems, and he might have gotten hit in there, and obviously seems to be in quite a bit of pain.
Well, you said Randall talked about Ron Johnson playing a key role, and that's got to be a good confidence booster for Johnson to know that ahead of time.
Let's watch number 23, Bobby Butler. Carter's going to come in after the catch. Blocks him, and he knocks him into the helmet of Ron Johnson. Boy, he seems to be in some pain. He's limping off the field. And, you know, as I said, he's had problems with the hamstring. Maybe probably got a thigh bruise on that one. I was talking to Scott Casey why Bobby Butler doesn't wear any pads in his legs. Doesn't wear all the protective pads, so when he gets hit, it goes right to the skin. Looks like he's wearing little shells for thigh pads, but you can see he has no knee pads on at all. And look, it hit him right where his knee pad would have been if he was wearing the right equipment.
Has to come off the field for at least one play. 1st and 10, ball at the 43 of Atlanta. Cunningham. And it's caught. Ron Johnson. Inside the 5. A 39-yard strike from Cunningham to Johnson.
Well, Bobby Butler went out in the previous play. They brought in Charles Dimry, and right away they worked on him, and worked on him for a big play inside the 5-yard line. Looking, it's a move to the inside, and then he breaks outside, and he's got him, free safety coming over, but they just can't do it. And Ron Johnson's really smart. Used his body, made sure he made the catch. Wasn't worried about just catching it and taking it in for a touchdown.
And Cunningham signals for a timeout. Ron Johnson, who's never caught more than 3 passes in a game, has 4 today. Philadelphia is threatening.
For 8 years, and I know one thing he hates is wasted timeouts. And look at this, they call a timeout, and he talks to Ted Plum, the offensive coordinator. He wants to know why they had to use one.
What do you think Ted said?
I think Ted didn't know either, probably. But I'll tell you what, you'd rather do that than make a mistake inside the 10-yard line.
1st and goal, ball on the 4 for Philadelphia. 8:46 remaining. Philly trailing by 10. Chris Carter in motion. Cunningham back to pass. Overthrows Keith Jackson in the end zone. To bring up 2nd and goal.
Well, there wasn't anything there. Good defensive coverage. It was wise of Cunningham to throw it out of bounds.
Of course, the Philadelphia fans remember that Phil just finished last week hoping for another miracle. 2nd and goal, ball at the 4. 8:42 remaining in the game. Atlanta on top, 20-10. Going up top for Carter. He's got it. Chris Carter. And Philadelphia on the march back.
Well, it's man-to-man coverage. The outside receiver just ran out, a 5-yard out. And that allowed the inside receiver to get the alley-oop.
And Luis Zendejas makes it a 3-point ball game.
And that's not Chris Carter. There's Chris Carter. And Ted Plum saying, beautiful job, baby. This is just a little touch pass. It's man-to-man coverage. Everybody's bumping the line of scrimmage. He just throws it up to the inside receiver, Chris Carter, because the outside receiver ran a 5-yard out, so it leaves all that room open. But look at the concentration and the beautiful catch. Hey, the defensive back did what he could, but hey, that's a touchdown. And he prays and gets it up, and boom, a good spike. You think Matt Darwin said, hey, maybe you could have given me the ball. I could have spiked it.
And look who's talking to Chris
Kenny
Carter.
Jackson in a hot-looking coat comes over and says, nice job, young guy. Cheerleaders are happy.
Now, if you're Atlanta, you've got to be thinking, my gosh, last week we're on top, and the team comes back.
You see Kenny Jackson, he's slapping everybody. He's anxious to get back in there and just rejoin the team. And, well, this is it. This is the test of the medal. This is fun. You know, it's a 3-point lead. Whose will is going to be predominant? Now they're going to have to face that Philadelphia defense done a great job of limiting the offense for the Falcons.
Luis Zendejas boots this one low. And Evan Cooper loses the handle, takes it back to the end zone, touchback.
But you know, that was really smart. That was really smart, because that was clearly he did not have control or possession of that ball, and he had the presence of mind not to try to run that out. Had some help. Take a look here, and as long as this ball doesn't really change its direction, he can do this. This is a touchback. That was just a muck, and he is protected, and it comes out to the 20-yard line. Heads up play by Evan Cooper, a former Eagle. Chris Miller trying to get this offense back with a big play. Roynell Young comes off his man, and he makes a one-handed stab. Does he get both feet in? They said yes, and he jumps over everything. He almost knocked over the Gatorade.
Now,
they're definitely take a look here at instant replay.
Catch is good.
And Chris Miller wants to know, did he get both feet in bounds? And watch Roynell Young. He comes up. He's got the ball 1
Clyde Simmons. Fourth Philadelphia sack of the afternoon.
I'll tell you what, the crowd was so loud, this place was shaking. Our booth was shaking. This crowd is really awakened here in the fourth quarter, and the Philadelphia offense will have great field position.
Donnelly gets away his 10th punt of the afternoon. Connecting, loses the handle, and runs it out of bounds at midfield. So Philadelphia will take over at midfield with 7:15 remaining. Philadelphia trailing by 3.
Clyde Simmons is one of the best players. You hear about Reggie White. They're rolling around, rolling outside Reggie. He turns it back in, and Clyde Simmons, number 96, comes over. And I'm sure that he and Mike Pitts are going to be fighting for that sack. But most importantly, they made the big play. And now, let's see what the Falcon defense can do to respond to this challenge.
Going for Carter. He's got him. Touchdown, Philadelphia. One play, 50 yards, Cunningham to Carter.
It's trick or treat time here in Philadelphia. They have nobody in the backfield, so your offensive line has to give you the protection. Rolls right and throws it downtown. Chris Carter makes the adjustment. Moore misses the tackle. Watch this, he stops. Case overruns him. In there for 6 points. Great play by Chris Carter.
Zendejas. It's good.
And Chris Carter is justifiably tired. 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, sitting on that hot bench, getting that hot air, warming up those legs, because he's definitely hot in the fourth quarter. A rollout to the right. Everybody's running one way. Chris Carter, a throwback. The ball is not particularly well thrown. Misses one guy, misses another guy, goes in between the two of them, dives for the touchdown. Wow. And now the celebration does the prayer. And watch this. Boom! Oh, he hits himself. See, you can't do that, though. And then he gives a high five to the crowd. Hey, he's doing it all. Why not? That's what football's all about. He's having fun. Kind of looks like Groucho a little bit, doesn't it?
A lot happier, I'm sure.
I don't know. Groucho Marx is a pretty happy guy, too.
Philadelphia has really turned it on in the second half. 260 second half yards to only 40 for Atlanta.
Boy, I'll tell you, if you're an Atlanta Falcon player, fan, or coach, you've been here before.
And Zendejas gets it off. Cooper takes it at the 7. Across the 25. And dives to the 30-yard line. Tonight on CBS, starts with 60 minutes. What's a congressman from Texas doing in the middle of the Afghan war? He says he's sticking it to the Russians. How's he doing that? Watch 60 Minutes tonight on CBS. Then it's Murder, She Wrote, followed by a CBS miniseries, Dada is Death, Part 1, starring Julie Christie. All that and more coming tonight on CBS. First and 10 from its own 30, Atlanta, with 6:54 remaining. Complete to Gene Lang. And Lang with the first down up near midfield, tackled by Mike Reichenbach.
Great presence of mind by Chris Miller on that one. Avoided the rush, but kept sight of the fact that he was looking downfield and found a wide open Gene Lang on that play. Boy, took the crowd right out of the game now. We can talk normally. Big play, shows great presence. Great leadership by a young quarterback.
21-yard pickup. Ball at midfield for the Falcons. First and 10. Falcons trailing by 4. 6:13 remaining in the game. Miller going deep. Complete. Haynes. Touchdown. Second touchdown of the afternoon for Michael Haynes. And Atlanta comes right back with a 49-yard strike.
Both quarterbacks had a rough first half, but they're showing just how talented they are. Up and down this field, we're like ping pong now.
And a clear indication why the vets and rookies alike have all the world of confidence in Chris Miller.
Again, the last time he finished a game, they won. And that was way back against San Francisco. He's going against the last ranked pass defense in the NFL, and he burned it for a big touchdown there.
Greg Davis. And the point after is good, and just that quickly, the Falcons come right back and take the lead 27-24.
Chris Miller dropping back, plenty of protection from Fralick and the entire front five, and he gets behind the man-to-man coverage. Everybody falls all over themselves, and Michael Haynes, I don't think he can believe he just stumbled so freely into the end zone. And Chris Miller, who's had a great second half here, hey, he knows, hey, I did it. And boy, I'll tell you what, you don't think those offensive linemen are happy?
The 23-year-old leader of the Atlanta Falcons, Chris Miller, and that's as much emotion as I've seen him show. First ever 3-touchdown game for Chris Miller.
See Jim Hannafin, the offensive line coach to the right. His offensive line, give them credit. They've been going against supposedly one of the best front four in football. And they're here to do the job. He's got Fralick and Ken and a rookie, Houston Hoover, going against Reggie White. John Scully over at left guard. And George Yarno, who's been replacing Wayne Radbaugh.
Davis gets off a low one. And it gets an Atlanta bounce. It goes out of bounds.
Well, it didn't take an Atlanta bounce. It definitely took a Philadelphia bounce because
35.
That's right.
You got it. Coming to you live from Philadelphia, Veterans Stadium here in South Philadelphia. An excellent ball game. Falcons lead at 27-24. And after a very slow and sluggish first half, we've had ample scoring here in the second half. 5:52 remaining in the game. Each team with 2 timeouts remaining. First and 10 for the Eagles at their own 35. Play action. Cunningham looking for Johnson. Incomplete. And Cunningham has seen these situations often.
You know, I think they feel very comfortable because they have been tested and they've responded. I mean, the Monday night game against the New York Giants, the last second with 5 seconds to go last week against the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, they feel comfortable that they can pull out anything when Randall Cunningham's the quarterback. But they have to have this football game. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult for them to make a legitimate run for the NFC East crown.
Strong numbers in only this half for Randall on second down. Complete to Byers. And Byers run out of bounds at about the 38-yard line. Call it the 39.
And they say the clock keeps going. Plenty of time here. 2 timeouts left. To be very patient. But then, of course, if you get down there, do you kick the field goal, tie the game going to overtime, or you try to win it? We'll see whether or not they even get that opportunity.
An important third down for Philadelphia. 3rd and 6 from their own 39 in their spread purple formation. Cunningham. Intended receiver was Greg Garrity. Incomplete. And the punting unit for the Eagles come on the field. John Telchik.
James, it's getting down to Very, very short tempers on both sides. They try to maintain the lead or get the lead if you're a Philadelphia Eagle.
And Lou Barnes with the fair catch signal.
That was a big punt.
A 48-yard punt. So Atlanta will take over. Ball marked at their own 13. And a big doubleheader Sunday coming your way next week on CBS. Starting, of course, at 12:30 with the NFL Today. Then the LA Rams will play the Philadelphia Eagles. Or the Green Bay Packers will take on the Atlanta Falcons. And following that, a big matchup in Washington, the Saints and the Redskins. First and 10 for the Falcons at their own 13. 4:58 remaining. Lang, the ball carrier. Forward progress should have him up near the 16-yard line. Pickup of about 3. Hit hard and driven back by Mike Reichenbach.
You see Atlanta right now, they don't want to make any critical mistakes this far in their own territory. Take a look there. New England upset the Chicago Bears. Doug Flutie has his revenge. Right now, Atlanta wants to try to run the ball, run the clock out, and not give the ball up.
Falcons on top by 3. 2nd and 6. Play action. Miller complete to Wilkins. And Wilkins with the first down yardage and plenty more to keep the clock going. A 23-yard pass play from Miller to Gary Wilkins.
And Wilkins was wide open. If you take a look, Chris Miller, play action pass. Wilkins came from the other side of the field. No one picked him up. He snuck out. He's wide open. There isn't anyone within 5 or 10 yards of him. And then he's going for more yardage. Roynell Young tries to tackle. Seth Joyner comes back and makes the tackle. Well, that was a big play. That got him out of the hole.
First and 10 at the 40. 3:38 remaining. Wisenhunt in motion. This is John Settle. And Settle forward to about the 42-yard line.
The Falcons have 2 tight ends in. Now they're bringing in 2 wide receivers, but they're clearly going to try to establish that running game on these last couple series. Hopefully they won't even have to give up the ball again. And there's a guy down in the field for the Eagles.
Mike Pitts. Gary, with 3:12 remaining, at what point does Philadelphia want to start burning off some of its timeouts to save the clock?
Well, I think you might want to probably wait until after the 2-minute warning. You don't want to do it too quickly, because if you can stop them here, and it's 2nd and 8, you can force them to punt the ball, and then you have a 2-minute timeout, a 2-minute warning, plus your other 2 timeouts. And again, remember, Buddy Ryan was not happy when they had to waste one earlier in this game, in the second half. Earlier in this game, of course, they had to use one, but it looks like Mike Pitts looks as though he got hit in the back of the head or something. You see their trainer, Otho Davis. You know, we were looking at, Otho has the sweatshirt with the green jacket to the right on. Great respect around the league, and we saw a tremendous collection of helmets. 3 plastic helmets, you know, the old type that he has in his locker room. There's the guy with the hood there. Not quite sure what's wrong with Mike Pitts. You don't know if he's just banged up a little bit or a little woozy, or I don't think he knows right now. But getting back to what the Eagle defense, you just want to stop them and hopefully get good field position. You don't want to be inside the 10-yard line, and then keep your timeouts and move the ball patiently down the field. Don't panic. And you got to score a touchdown if you want to win, or you can at least tie the game with a field goal.
We talked about how calm and cool Randall Cunningham was last week in that come-from-behind victory. He certainly seems to exude just a tremendous amount of confidence, but at some point you got to think he wants to be ahead for a change as opposed to always having to come from behind.
Well, you can't continue to try to get these miracle finishes. I mean, they went over 90 yards to win last week, and even if the defense stops them, they're going to have to go at least probably 80 yards unless they block a punt. But if you're with the Atlanta Falcons right now, you're going, look, guys, this is it. We've been in this position too many times before. We can't allow ourselves to lose this game, and if we hold on to the ball for 3 minutes and 12 seconds, we're going to go home a winner.
Speaking of a winner, big victory in the making if Cleveland holds on for the victory over Cincinnati, trailing the Bengals, of course, in the division standings. And a big upset there. The Patriots knocking off the Chicago Bears. And boy, Doug Flutie, 4 touchdown passes. He'll be draped in gold for sure.
Was never lost in Sullivan Stadium in college or the pros when he started.
2nd and 8 from the 42 for the Falcons. And Lang, with only about a 2-yard pickup to the 44, hit hard and tackled by Doug Bartlett. And there's number 1 for the Eagles, who burned this one off before the 2-minute warning.
Well, 1 of 2 that they had left because they used one earlier. So if they get the ball back, they're only going to have that much time and 1 timeout. But you know why they did that? If they didn't do that, you can believe that those guys are going to get real slow. They were going to use all 40 seconds of that clock. Would have been down to almost 2 minutes anyway. So they decided to save some time. Took with Chris Miller, talking to Rod Donhauer, offensive coordinator. Look at Buffalo whitewashing the Green Bay Packers. Giants in Detroit, no score.
And of course, these scores that you're looking at now, the late games around the league, the 4 o'clock games, just getting underway. 3rd and 6 for the Falcons with 4 wideouts on their own 44. And Miller, arm hit on the pass attempt.
I'm not quite sure that anybody hit that ball. It might have just slipped out of his hand. Take a look at this. They blitz the linebacker coming right at the gut. You can see that nobody hit him. It just slipped out of his hand. And, you know, you have this cold weather like this, that ball does have a tendency to get a little bit slick.
Hit by the wind.
Yeah, the Phantom Man.
And Donnelly in for his 11th punt. And connecting. Lets it roll. And there was a flag back where Rick Donnelly punted the ball.
Ooh,
It'll go against the Falcons.
You better believe they'll take that one. They don't want the ball on the 14-yard line. It's 10 more yards. That's a good kick, too, by Donnelly. And it was, I believe it was prior to the ball being kicked, so it will be 10 yards assessed against the Falcons.
Holding on 41 on the offense. That's a 10-yard penalty and it's 4th down.
That's Tim Gordon.
Tim Gordon's been a very active player today. And at the top of the screen, you can see he's holding number 20.
Andre Waters.
Yeah, you can see it. Definitely threw the flag. You see Andre threw it a little bit. You say, hey, I know you got me. That's all.
So Donnelly back to punt again. And gets away a high one. Connecting. Boy, was he lucky to come away with it that time as he bobbled the ball.
And you know, he bobbled the last time he got the punt. He also bobbled a fair catch. He just isn't being very sure-handed today. Doesn't call a fair catch. I'll tell you what, just can't get the handle on it. Boy, I'll tell you what, if he lost that one, he might have been on the next boat to China.
He felt that thought for sure. Well, Randall Cunningham and the Eagles have 2:21 remaining in the game, trailing the Falcons by 3. 1st and 10 from their own 34. And their spread red offense. Complete to Tony out of the backfield. And Tony takes it up to the 35-yard line.
They're going to go to a hurry-up offense here. The Falcons have a 4-man line. Marcus Cotton going down as a 4th lineman. And
the 2-minute warning hits before the Eagles are able to get off the next play. When we come back, it'll be 2nd and 9 for the Eagles, trailing by 3. 2 minutes remaining in the game. Eagles with the ball at their own 35, 2nd and 9. Eagles did it last week. Can they do it this week? Out of the spread purple formation. Cunningham. Incomplete. Scott Case on the coverage that time, defending against Greg Garrity.
Nice play by Scott Case. He was all over Greg Garrity. Turns the coverage without touching him. Got his towel, and Greg Garrity, who really so much surprised he even played this game after getting hit last week in the back of the knee. And Scott Case did a good job there, broke up the pass.
Crucial 3rd down situation, 3rd and 9 for the Eagles. And Cunningham is going to run for it. And he ran for the 1st down. A multi-talented quarterback showing his running ability.
Yeah, he almost ran over Marion Campbell. You look, the pass rush is there. They got him, but then they don't have him. He gets outside, and he's just running for that 1st down. And God, Joel almost gets him. And watch this. Oh, he nails Marion Campbell.
The guy who drafted him.
Yeah, that's right. You're never safe, not even on the sidelines. He's got to get his hat back on now.
1st and 10, ball at the 45 of Philadelphia. You see the time remaining. Complete to Jackson. And Jackson across midfield, about 3 yards shy of the 1st down marker. Robert Moore pushes him out of bounds.
Boy, look at, how can you be so calm, cool, and collected? You know, I guess he's just been through it so many times, has confidence. And, you know, after what they did last week against the Cowboys, I'm sure there's not a doubting mind in that huddle that they can do it again.
A very cerebral quarterback, Randall Cunningham. 2nd and 2. And Cunningham looking for Anthony Toney. Incomplete.
You know what, Marcus Cotton, number 51, rookie linebacker, made a smart read on that. He was all over that screen pass. You know, Marcus has said, look, I've got a lot to learn, but I think he's coming of age very quickly. And Marion Campbell is so pleased to have 2 outside rookie rushers like Cotton 51 and Andre Bruce, but he's the first one to admit there's a long way to go in his development.
And yet another 3rd down, 3rd and 2 for the Eagles at the 48. Cunningham holding on to the ball to the last moment, just beyond the outstretched hand of Keith Byers. And this will bring up a 4th and 2, an obvious must-go situation for Philadelphia.
Again, they kept him in the pocket. Good pass rush by the front 4 for the Falcons. I think what he's going to do right now is a short little pass, sure possession pass. Watch one of those wide receivers where they just run a little hook, but most likely just run a little out. And watch the Falcons. They got all their guys covered right at the line of scrimmage.
And in and out of the hands of Keith Jackson. Scott Case on the coverage and a very catchable pass.
Well, I said they're going to throw a little out pattern, and Keith Jackson had the opportunity to catch this ball. 4th and 2. He's to the left of your screen. Randall throws it right there, and it just bounces off. Doesn't look the ball in, and Scott Case ball over him, and that could be the ball game. Cunningham looking, just trying to get a 1st down. Throws a sure pass. Keith Jackson, the rookie, had a great year, but...
And look how excited Marion Campbell is on the sideline.
Jackson wanted interference, but it wasn't there.
1st and 10 for the Falcons, keeping it on the ground. Gene Lang, 1-yard pickup, and a timeout called by Philadelphia.
Well, Buddy Ryan said this was a test of the maturity of this team, and once again, you know, everyone keeps saying around the league, Atlanta's not a 1-7 team. That's a cliche and everything else, but the fact of the matter is they didn't have the big turnovers that hurt them today. They played well offensively. They came back from every challenge. Boy, they just made a big statement there now, and now Buddy Ryan's team's going to be under 500. Rest of the year, they have no timeouts left now, and looks like the rest of the year they're going to be chasing to try to get to the top. But again, one step forward, beating Dallas, 2 steps back, losing to Atlanta. 1 step forward, beating the New York Giants, and then 2 steps backwards, losing to Cleveland. You know, you just got to get over that point, that hump where you get over that 500 ball.
And Minnesota, San Francisco, you'll be seeing that game at the conclusion of this game here. 2nd and 8 for the Falcons at midfield. 1:25 remaining. John Settle, the ball carrier. And Randall tried to pull a miracle out of the hat for the 2nd week in a row.
You can't rely on miracles. You really have to get something going early in the game. That's something that Philadelphia didn't do, and now they've got an injured player down.
Wes Hopkins, and this time it looks like he's grabbing in the area of the knee.
And they have no timeouts left. I'm not quite sure what Ben Dries said there. But Wes Hopkins looks like one of his legs.
And if Philadelphia is not able to pull out a miracle, the updated standings in the NFC East will look like this. Philadelphia drops to 4-5. And boy, do they have a golden opportunity coming into today's game. Only one behind the co-leaders, New York and Washington. Washington, of course, will be playing the Houston Oilers in an 8 o'clock game tonight. And the NFC West, Atlanta, if the score stays the same, will pick up its 2nd victory. And the Saints lost to the LA Rams.
The LA Rams play the Philadelphia Eagles next week. And, you know, we talked about Chris Miller. If he finishes a game, the last time he did that was way back when they won their only game of the season against the San Francisco 49ers. And here he is jogging onto the field. And boy, Wes Hopkins looks to be in quite a bit of pain.
Boy, let's hope.
He's had so many problems with that knee. It took a year and a half for him to come back. Just hope he didn't re-injure that.
And he really put in an awful lot of time, he being Wes Hopkins, to get back into the game of football after that devastating knee injury. 53 seconds and counting remaining. And Atlanta, having lost so many close ones before, Marion Campbell having to stand before the press and answer the questions, hoping to hold on. And John Settle running with perhaps what will be the last play of the game.
Well, we said they were going to try to win one for the Gipper, and the Swamp Fox comes back to Philadelphia and gets a nice piece of victory.
Man who had been here for 16 years, Marion Campbell, first as a player, an assistant coach, and head coach. Played for the Eagles 1956-61, and he leaves away victorious. As you take a look at Buddy Ryan heading off the field, and the Eagles will drop to 4-5, while the Falcons improve their record to 2-7.
You know, I'm really surprised, though, that Buddy Ryan didn't go over and at least shake hands with Marion Campbell.
For Gary Fencik, this is James Brown saying so long from Philadelphia, where once again the final score is Atlanta 27, Philadelphia 24. Coming next, doubleheader action continues on CBS when the San Francisco 49ers take on the Minnesota Vikings. CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League will continue after these words from your local station.